Give me a sec, guys. Just getting set up. Totally forgot to turn off my mic, so I'm sure you guys heard all the typing. I'll see you in a minute. All right. Oh, that's crazy, Jade. I'm glad you like it. I was liking that game too. It's definitely a good after show game. So really, really quick before we jump into this weird janky deck, I was reached out by Card Hoarder. Apparently, I misinterpreted the email. So let's go ahead and just get the slightly disappointing news out of the way. So, well, this is good news though in a way when you think about it. So for those of you that didn't do the BrewOff, that I didn't receive a deck from you, you have more time. So what I've decided is I don't want to throw the contest away just because I was wrong about the prize. So it is true that there are card hoarder keys. I was mistaken. The free keys are actually only for streamers, card hoarder streamers. The keys, they are part of their beta test. So if you wanted to be one of the first ones to use their account, that's what they gave me and some of the other streamers. So I just misinterpreted the email. I'm sorry to overhype that over a misinterpretation. But I don't want to throw the contest away. So I'm trying to figure out a different way to reward you guys, like maybe either a different prize or maybe I'll just feature the decks that win. I'm trying to figure out a better compromise. So that I'm going to give you guys a whole nother week. First of all, because now you guys know, just like I know, that I was wrong about the prize structure. So I just wanted to publicly apologize to you guys about that misunderstanding, miscommunication. Because that is disappointing. I was really looking forward to today. I was going to announce the winners based on what decks were submitted. There weren't all that many decks submitted, by the way. So that was a little disappointing. So you'll notice that I updated the BrewOff command. So when you do use that command now it is what's going on. Please, if you hadn't submitted a deck, like now you have more time, and as we move forward to next weekend, I may have actually figured out what would be a more appropriate prize. Or again, if the prize would just be that we get to feature your deck on the stream, essentially for free, without any sort of subbing or anything to my channel, that might be an appropriate prize. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. But yeah, maybe I'll just play the winners in a competitive league or something, so we can truly see if they were actually as competitive as we thought, because that's one of the grading factors. And I know chat's quiet. I know you guys are disappointed. I'm disappointed too. But what is disappointment? Well, disappointment is when expectations do not meet reality. So we had a little bit of that today when I received that email. I was pretty bummed out. Just like you guys, obviously, however, it's my fault because I misinterpreted the email and I set up the little giveaway or what have you. Anyway, so I'll still give away those codes because they do get you into the Card Hoarder beta for their loan. It's a good program. I use it, albeit even though I'm a streamer, so I am very lucky that I get access to it for free, but. They do let you borrow the cards for as long as you want. And speaking of borrowing cards, I don't have all that much time to stream tonight just because I work tomorrow, 8 a.m. I don't have President's Day off. I'm not privileged like that. So we're going to do a quick 1v1. A one-off unless I guess we win. Maybe I'll keep playing the deck. We're going to do a quick game with the Saheeliator. This is something that we brewed a while ago. Sometimes I'll go back through my backlog of decks and ideas that we've come up with on the show, and I'll play them again. But yes, just to clarify, it's really disappointing news. Again, I'm sorry that I misunderstood the email, misunderstood these things. We do have a few different decks we could play, but let's do the Saheeliator because I'm actually pretty excited about this deck. I don't know if it's going to do anything, but we will see. This is something I've been working on kind of a little bit. I wouldn't say in secret. We'll mulligan that. This hand's interesting. So it's got the combo and it's got an Aether Vial. I think I'll keep. We'll bottom. Guess it doesn't really matter because I'm probably just going base Skyline and Aether Vial. So this deck was actually really difficult to build. It took me a while to find the other pieces. I'm not trying to brag or anything. Obviously it's nonsense, but to find creatures that can be vialed in that have value with Felidar Guardian, like blinking them, and also give us artifacts for Mox Opal Metalcraft, and also artifacts for the Improvise on Whir of Invention. So lots of moving parts in this deck, And we'll talk about the sideboard as well when we get there. But this is definitely the kind of deck I'm into. I definitely... Ooh, perfect. So we have a fetch land, and we just drew the Renegade. So we're going to do that. It might be... Well, he went mountain, so I don't really want to shock. I was going to say it might be correct for me to get another blue source there just because of whir. But, oh, geez. I'm assuming this is Electrodominance, Living End. It's probably like a Cathartic Reunion. No, Faithless Looting. But yeah, you guys are really quiet in the chat, so I'm assuming that you're upset with me, and I am sorry that I misinterpreted the email, and I take full credit for that mistake. I actually think Countless Gears is pretty sweet. I mean, obviously we have to have a way to cause a revolt. Oh, okay, so it's Hollow One, thank goodness. I was worried that it... Well, no, it might still be the Mono Red Living End. It could still be the Mono Red Living End. Another Aether Vial. Alright, let's get Saheeli out there and start looking for fourth land. Obviously, we could also... yeah, we'll leave that on top. No attacks, obviously, into that Hollow One. So we have the combo next turn. Oh yeah, Adam. So I got an email from Card Hoarder about a week ago, and I just immediately started the BrewOff because I was so excited about it. And apparently I misread the email. I don't think it's the email's fault. I don't think it's Card Hoarder's fault. I'll take full responsibility. I misinterpreted the email, and I set up this little contest for everyone, Adam. If you do ! BrewOff, you can read what I'm talking about. Saheeli is being attacked. We will block. So... yeah, it's just a little embarrassing, to be completely honest. But, I mean, you know, I made a mistake, and we kind of have to roll with it. But I want to extend the contest. Yeah. So what do I want to blink? Do I just blink a land so that I can play the Aether Vial? But I could easily have Bolt here. Could also just have Electrodominance Living End. Oh wow, we got there. Look at us doing the things. What a lucker we were, right? Alright, so he's playing Hollow One. Do we want any different whir targets? We definitely want the Anger and the Path and the Rest in Pieces. Those are very good here. Maybe Kitchen Finks even. Wear Tear is interesting. Yeah, so let me just put all the different whir targets together. Then we have some one-offs just because we're in Jeskai colors. Just some more blink targets. Pia, Vendilion Click, Finks, a Negate, a Wear Tear. And then, of course, these are very good. Replica is quite bad. Conjuring is on the weaker side. It's just an enabler. Do we want to keep the full combo? So this enables the Saheeli combo. So now you understand, hopefully you're looking at my list and you're like, oh, okay, now I get why he's playing whir. Because Saheeli plus Altar plus Liquid Metal Coating is an infinite in and of itself. Doesn't involve any creatures, which is nice. But I also included these other creature combos. Now, Renegade is, in my opinion, the weakest creature that we're playing. So I could see us cutting some Renegades to squeeze in the Path, Angers, and Rest in Pieces. I wouldn't want to cut more than this. Now, if we're not running the Ensnaring Bridge, I'm less excited about the whirs. Because really all that they'll get is just the combo. So I think we want to include Ensnaring Bridge as well. What was it that I misinterpreted? I misinterpreted how the email was worded. I actually can't show the email because it has the codes in it. But basically, the email said something along the lines of, hey, BrewSpy, here's these codes. These are for the Card Hoarder Load program. Give them out to people. And I said, awesome. And I did not click. There was like a link. There was a link in the email that I did not click and read more in depth. And so I basically was led to be just I misinformed myself, and so through that I set up the BrewOff under the notion that everybody was going to get what I had. My understanding was that everybody was going to get the same kind of accounts that streamers have, and there's a big difference apparently between what we have and what we were going to be able to give to you guys. I mean, other than that, it's exactly the same. It's really just the pricing is the only thing that's different. I actually think that Kitchen Finks is good in this matchup. I think Renegade can just go. Is that crazy, though? We're going to have a lot less. We're going to have a smaller artifact count. So, like, without the Renegades, we may not be able to hit enough artifacts for Whir. But let's run it. But yeah, does that make sense, Adam? I'm not trying to hide from my mistake. I just want to make that clear. Yeah, I'd probably keep this. I just want to make that, really plain and obvious that I'm not trying to get away with any sort of... No, I made a mistake. But I still want to have the contest because I know you guys put a lot of hard work into those decks. So, yeah, this is the mono red. I remember seeing a mono red Living End on Twitch. Blue Source. Oh, with Pentad Prism, I don't feel so bad about getting basic planes. I think the Thraben Inspector, I'm not sure why we didn't come up with Thraben Inspector before. I think this is actually really perfect for the deck because we need things to blink that also give us artifacts. So Thraben Inspector, of course, gives us a clue token. Clue tokens can tap for Whir of Invention. I just missed everything. Yeah, so I misinterpreted the email, Jade. You still want to see everybody's brew, to hell with the reward. Yeah, and that's kind of like the best way that maybe we can work with that. And again, I am really sorry that I screwed that up, guys. But at the same time, like, if we were to make the best out of the situation, that's kind of what my thought process was, Jade, is to just still do the contest and maybe just like as you just said, that's what I was thinking, was just show the brews on stream. We could War of Invention for Bridge as early as next turn, but in the interest to... because we have blue like that. In the interest to preserve life total, I think I'll just path. Now, if I was just going to path anyway, shouldn't I attack with the Inspector? Not necessarily. Him having a little bit less mana this turn is relevant. Well, I guess not. He's just flashing that back. Oh, yeah, I did see your list. That was spice. Anytime I see Omniscience in Modern, that always excites me. So let's shock in this Saheeli. And we're going to scry. Actually, we have the whole Saheeli combo. So really, we just need to find more blue sources. This is a blue source, so we will leave this on top. And we actually have the full Saheeli combo. In fact, I think I'm just going to lay back on this Inspector then. So I know he has haste creatures. So yeah, we have the whole Saheeli combo. We just need to protect her. And I know you're like, BrewSpy, wait a minute, how do you have the whole combo? We don't. It's going to take a couple turns. I have to whir in the... I have to whir in both Altar and Liquid Metal Coating. But this is a way to combo with Saheeli that does not involve the Felidar Sovereign at all. Now, we may have found something really sweet. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to brag or say that we... or even suggest that we found something new. But maybe this is new. So let's go Mesa and... as awkward as it is, I think I want to scry Saheeli even though I plan to fetch with the Mesa. Actually, here's what we'll do, because we don't need to fetch with this to see. Let's scry before we fetch, and then we may not fetch at all at Kitchen Finks. I mean, I'd rather just naturally draw the other piece of the combo. I mean, we're shuffling anyway, though, so that's kind of irrelevant. We're just ticking up the Saheeli at the end of the day. We're dealing a damage, ticking her up past the turn. So in the end step, we're going to whir in one of the pieces necessary to go off, and then we'll whir in the other piece and go off. So there's the dominance. That's what I was worried about. We could go whir... we can whir Bridge in. right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have whir for 7, which is X is 4. So we can put bridge in. It's not a big deal. It's not really how I wanted to use the first whir of invention, but it is something that we can do. So yeah, we'll probably. I mean, we don't want to die, so I imagine we're going to put the ensnaring bridge into play. And that's the flexity of the flexibility of whir. Now, if we want to keep the charge counter on this pentad prism, I do have to fetch here, which I think I do. I think I do want the charge counter on that still. So let's go get our other blue source. So we'll have triple blue this way, and we will cast this. We'll improvise. So we're not using the charge counter on the pentad. We're just tapping the pentad. We're tapping the clue. Go get bridge. Buy ourselves a little bit more time. Potentially. I mean, he might have artifact removal for the bridge. So this is a pretty cool deck, isn't it? I mean, it's not like... We're not full control, or we're not full-blown like the other Whir of Invention, like artifact kind of style of deck. We still have some teeth. So let's go see if we can find... okay, so that's the rest of the combo. We'll top that. So that means I don't want to whir immediately, which is awkward. I'll admit to you, chat, that that's awkward. Oh, no, we can draw it off the clue. Blue, blue, blue. Yeah, so we can draw that whir in the other thing, right? Unless I'm misinterpreting my mana. 1, 2, 3... Well, yeah, we have exactly enough to do that play. More than that, actually, because of how improvise works. I'm just making sure we have triple blue. I shouldn't have tapped the island. I should have tapped dark steel. Hang on, let's do some math here. Do I have enough mana to whir for 1 and also crack the clue? But crack the clue first to draw the other whir. The answer is yes. And we may need to, unless I didn't bring it in, I was going to say we may need to protect the bridge. I did not bring in the welding jar. So we actually, if he top decks removal for the bridge, we are dead. But it's going to take 2 turns for us to... Yeah, we don't have enough blue to do it. Right, yeah. It's going to take 2 turns for us to set up the kill. But this is actually really cool. You guys kind of get to see us kind of go off... Game 1, we went off through the creature part of the combo. But here you're going to see me go off through specifically the Saheeli part. And I think this is one of the biggest strengths of our deck here is the fact that I can just... we need blue, blue, blue. Blue, blue, blue... Tap the bridge, tap pentad. I mean, like, we can overpay for it. It's fine. So how cool is this, chat? We're going to combo off here. So let's go get the coding. Next turn, we'll get Altar the Brood, and we'll win. Blue, blue, blue. Seriously, this is kind of neat, isn't it? Overpay just because we can. Alright, Altar the Brood. And we can mill them out. Now, do you want to mill out, Living End combo? Not really. Alright, don't remove my Saheeli somehow in some sort of weird way. So we make herself an artifact. Now she can copy herself. And we want to keep the copy. So that we can copy the copy, right? Yeah, because this is the one that has the ability. Always yield. Ah, he did have a bolt. Okay. That is the weakness of the combo. It's okay, we find another Saheeli, we're good to go. So we'll play this out. Mill you a little bit more, which is awkward because he's living in. Yeah, his deck is the mono red Living End. Obviously, he's cycling to his artifact removal now. Now I'm very sad that I don't have the welding jar in the deck to protect. Alrighty. Another whir. I don't think this whir represents anything all that special. Unfortunately, I didn't bring in the welding jar, so I won't be able to protect the ensnaring bridge that way. And I know I'm just helping my opponent, right, find his out to the bridge. No, I'm not running a second bridge, but I should have brought in like Spellskite, or like Spellskite would have protected Saheeli from Bolt. So I think Spellskite should have come in anyway. This is where I wish I had like Leviathan. I've jokingly thought about putting something like Leviathan in the deck because, I mean, well, it wouldn't be able to attack with the bridge, but just think about how much mana we're making here. Like, look how much mana we have. Like, I could go get like something huge here, but I can't. Let's go get Aether Vial. It's probably the best thing I can tutor for, unfortunately, because I didn't bring in all the different targets I probably should have. We took game 1, so we just draw another one. Maybe I'm just hoping I mill over his artifact hate. I'm sure he's got some artifact hate in there. He's got to have like a braid or something. I mean, surely, yeah, surely you do have some artifact hate. But we'll get these Aether Vials. We're going to go, we want 4 and 3, I imagine. 4 and 3. Bolt me. Okay. Try to mill over. I mean, he doesn't have a green splash, so we know it's not Ancient Grudge. I mean, surely they brought in... Surely my opponent brought in, like, a braid or something, right? Maybe Ingot Chewer? Yeah, maybe it's Chewer. Mox, Saddle Trigger. The Altar. Another Mountain. Hey, how's it going, Courtney? How you doing? What's up? I'm worried he's going to find it. I'm worried that my opponent will find it. They're looking at a lot of cards. But at least going into game 3, we'll know what artifact hate that they had access to. They're just digging for it. They haven't found it yet. But at least we'll know coming into the next game that they've left in their bolts, and there's a possibility that I get lucky, and yeah, it's an artifact. It's lucky that it might come down to us getting lucky on our Altar the Brood mills, and we mill over the and we can also stop with these Aether Vials next turn. Yeah, we might get very lucky. Did we hit it? No, we hit a bolt. Okay. Got 13 cards left. I mean, we have 14 minutes on the clock. Like, I want to know what artifact hate he has access to. All right, so let's auto yield to these. So what you do with Aether Vial once it's where you want it to be, always yield and always, oops, meant to say always no is what I meant to do. So no and no. Flooded Strand. I don't have another fetchable, I think. I think all of our fetchables except for the mountain is in. So this will not do anything. We might just mill them out. They might just kill me with Electrodominance and bolts. I'm at 3. So maybe that's his out and we're not going to get to see any sort of, yeah, just another one. Well, alright, so what did we learn? We learned that maybe he didn't bring in any artifact removal. We also should have protected Saheeli. So I don't necessarily want to run the Welding Jar, but I do want the Spellskite, because we had the kill should we have been able to protect her. Also, if they can't Dominance, they can't go off. Like, both Vendilion Click and Negate could theoretically pick apart their combo. It is a 2-piece, It is a 2-card combo, so I think these 3 we actually should have considered going into this third game. I'll say the path doesn't do quite enough. As crazy as that sounds, I think we're better off. Actually, anger doesn't work here because they're bigger than that. A lot of his creatures are bigger than that. I think maybe that's the way we should be thinking. Orbs could be good. It could stop his burn. Maybe. I think that might be overkill, though. Because like we should be winning before we just get burned out like that. Trinisphere also kind of screws up their combo, by the way. It would be hard for him to have 5 mana. Not impossible, but it would be 5 mana for him to dominance for... Actually, it's more than that. He wouldn't be able to do it at all. Because he has to pay 5... Sorry, he had to pay 3... It would be 6 mana, actually. It'd be dominance for X's 1, because that would pay for Trinisphere, and then he had to pay another 3 for... This would make his combo 6 mana. We should have considered the Trinisphere. Trinisphere might even be stronger than Ensnaring Bridge. So these should have been considered. I didn't think about them. My bad, chat. My bad. Like honestly, with this matchup the way that it is, I'm more interested in the Thraben Inspectors than I am. Like we're not going to beat them on the board. Like that's what like the Splicers and the Renegades do for our deck. We're not going to beat them on the table. We're just not. So I think maybe we should respect him maybe having artifact removal now that he's seen Bridge a little bit more so. He may be bringing some of that in. Let's run the Negate. Let's run the Trinisphere. And then we have space for one more card. It could just be a Splicer. It could be some of these tools. I mean, Conjuring is another combo piece, by the way. This lets us blink the Guardian and go infinite without the help of Saheeliator. Alright, let's run it back. So yeah, now we I don't know why I didn't think about Trinisphere. It's really, really good against these decks that like Cascade or what have you have multiple spells happening in a turn. I'm interested in this hand. I think it's bad, but I'm kind of curious what happens when we draw double Darksteel and we still hit Pentad. This has some of the combo. This hand also would equate to like a Bridge or Trinisphere pretty quickly. Because we've got, well, yeah, we've got blue. Pentad Prism will, well, it won't be. Because double Darksteel. It's actually mulligan. I think that's a risky keep. This hand seems a little bit better. It's got Saheeliator, it's got protection for her. There's a Rest in Peace. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. That is going to be really good. The mono red Living End actually doesn't deal with Rest in Peace at all. I wouldn't say that it is hard loose to the card. He'll have to become a fair deck. Like, Rest in Peace is pretty insane right now. I'm glad we have a couple on our sideboard. We're a Jeskai colored deck that we're not using Snapcaster Mage. We're not using our graveyard at all. So, it's quite powerful. Actually, I really should have some graveyard hate that we can get off of Whir. Actually, I think I forgot to include that. I meant to include, like, a Grafdigger's Cage. I think I would want it to be Grafdiggers instead of... because this also fights Company, and there are some Company decks. We'll find something to cut for this. I still think I like the 2 of Rest in Peace. Maybe just, like, the Singleton Path is just not impactful enough. And there's not, like, a ton of things like Kiki Combo running around anyway. It's not. We could also just Spyglass Kiki Jiki. It's got the path. Seems a little anemic. So we slam a Jamma this Rest in Peace. We want this to be a red source, so doesn't really matter how we do it. And we know we want to cast the Spellskite, or put the Spellskite into play off of the Aether Vial before we cast Saheeliator. So this Rest in Peace could maybe just win for us here. But I think this deck's cool. I'm not going to say it's good. This has just been a brainchild we worked on a while ago, and I threw it together again today just to show you that there's some kind of cool stuff that... okay, so he's going to hit my Aether Vial. So we don't have to rush Saheeliator into play just to maybe lose her to Bolt. I mean, or double Bolt, excuse me, because we'd be plussing her. I'm fine taking our time getting her into play. Yeah, Felidar Guardian? Yeah, so like why would I rush? Like, first of all, we want 4th land. So by not cracking this Flooded Strand, we improve our chances ever so slightly. Next turn to draw it. A 4th land for the combo. But I feel like their deck does very little with the Rest in Peace in play. Alright, Whir. Whir could get us land. And I know you're like, wait, what? Yeah, like Whir gets us mana. Like, but I think I still will put Saheeliator into play because I could just scry. I could find a land that way. Or Mox. Well, actually, no, we're one artifact short of this working. So we'll bottom it. So we draw land. We can go off. Sure. Okay, but he's open right here. And we win. I have no idea. That's a good question. I have no idea. Okay, opponent knows the combo. So we could keep going because we won. Let's add Grafdigger's Cage into this thing. What did I cut instead? I think I cut the bolt because it was kind of anemic. Yeah, let's go again. I think that was kind of cool. We kind of demonstrated some of what the deck is able to do. Yeah, I'm into it. So yeah, I think the last time I showed you guys this deck, let me see if I have it on the Twitter page. For the stream. So it looks a lot different back then. I didn't really discover... maybe we even talked about Inspector, but I wasn't trying it originally. I think the Inspector is kind of like perfectly what you want because it's an Aether Vial. It's a... yeah, so here we are now, right? So present day, this is what I came up with for tonight. We changed a couple things. We cut the path, added another war target. But like, we scroll back in time quite a bit. Here we go. So there's some similarities, but there's also some, obviously, I wouldn't say mistakes, but yeah, mistakes. Also, we could be playing Sai, because Sai makes Thopters, which are relevant for where I thought about a Sai. I could get behind Sai. I think the first Sai is definitely better than the fourth Blade Splicer necessarily. I also wasn't that impressed with Renegade. I think that Renegade, the fact that Renegade has Revolt, like I think that maybe before I play that many Renegades, I probably would play a Sai. I think that Sai is actually a really cool idea. I think just one. I think one's fine. I think one is fine. Just to try it. To see if we like it. I don't want to change the curve too much. I think that the Renegades and the Inspectors are important because they give us that early artifact for Opal. I also think the Renegade's tough on the deck because it requires Revolt. So I think having fewer of it is probably just overall a smart move. So let's play another game. I have enough time for another game, but we are probably going to shut it down after this. So appreciate you guys coming. Again, I apologize that the BrewOff wasn't really there's some misinterpretation there. I'm not gonna say miscommunication, like looking back at the email, like there was info for me to click on, but and I didn't read it. It's not the first time that's happened in my life. I get really excited about something and I just go for it, and then I look back and I'm like, oh, whoops. So I appreciate you guys being patient, being good people with me. Appreciate that. So, oops. So, this hand is interesting. It's got both of our accelerants. I'm interested to give this a try. Good luck and have fun. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea, Puddin'. I don't think it's done anything. Did you see how much Semblance Anvil costs now? Because people are thinking that might be another option for KCI. Noble Hierarch. So we get to go Citadel, Vial, Opal, Inspector. If only Whir of Invention could find Saheeli, right? I know you're sitting there, you're like, well, BrewSpy, why do you need the Vial? Like, aren't you already accelerating with this Opal? Yeah, I wanted a density of artifacts, though, that we could play in a creature-heavy deck, and Aether Vial fits the bill. So we have a lot of options for accelerating out our threats. And we're not running that many lands. Like this version was 20. Our current version, I believe, is also 20 lands. Yeah, so like you're relying on the Aether Vial and the Opal. Like they're part of the mana. They're part of our mana base. We actually have 28 cards devoted to mana, but we're technically a big mana deck. We've got 4-drops, we've got X spells, and we've got a lot of things we can do with the mana. So he's going to combo off next turn, potentially. Anvil's like 13, yeah. I believe it. I believe it. So we have a fetch land we can pair with the Renegade. We could also just put Saheeli into play. I like just putting Saheeli into play since my opponent might combo off like over the next turn or so. Something to think about. We don't quite have the mana to cast Felidar, so that would be a reason. That would be a reason to. Yeah, that would be a reason to. I'm thinking how we can kind of do this. If we Saheeli and we scry to a land, I mean, that works. Let's get a blue source. Like, yeah, Saheeli, try to scry to a land could work. Bottom. And I'd rather be putting in these creatures off of the vial anyway. Like, that was kind of my plan with the deck, is like, we're going to be tapping for the artifact part of the deck. We're tapping for like this side of the deck, like your Pentads, your Vials, the Saheelis as well. Like that's where I wanted my mana to be used, and then of course I wanted Aether Vial to handle everything else in the deck. I wanted Aether Vial to handle the Inspectors, the Renegades, the Splicers, I guess Sai in this case, Replica, Guardian. I wanted the Aether Vials to handle the creature side of the deck. Was kind of what I was thinking. So we'll tick up. So if we draw land, we just win here, which we did. Okay. All of our opponents today are familiar with the Kitty Kitty combo. So they are a combo as well. Their combo does go through the graveyard, but I don't think I want Rest in Peace. Mom Pop Thopter Shot, probably very good. I don't think I want to cut any combo pieces, so that means no cutting on Saheeli, Guardian, Conjuring. We're not even going to cut the other big mana deck. We'll cut Replica. We don't want to cut Alter, Coding, or Whir. Like this 15, I don't want to say is sacrosanct for the deck, but I rarely probably want to cut any of these 15. So like our Flex, our Spice, I mean, I think they're going to be, are they going to be a company deck, or are they going to be a chord deck? I mean, Bridge is interesting to think about, to say the least. Spellskite, because they might try to break up my combo. Grafdigger's Cage, if we think they're on company. Finks and Vendilion Click might just be good, just in general. If we want to try to protect our artifacts, we can put the Welding Jar in as a target. I think I'd rather run Spellskite first. Welding Jar is just a cheap Whir target. So what are we trying to bring in? Maybe negate. Hey, boot to the head with 152 viewer host. How's it going, David? Thank you so much for that. That's huge. That's very generous. What were you streaming tonight? That's a lot of viewers, my friend. What were you doing? We're playing against. So we're playing Saheeliator, and we're up against. We've actually done both sides of our combo tonight. Or actually, no. Somebody broke up the Saheeli Liquid Metal combo, but playing some Arena. I've been told that I should stream a little bit of Arena because I would, maybe find some folks in that realm and then hopefully introduce them to the glory that is Magic Online, right? Well, but you always in such a good mood. I'm sure that was kind of more so why people were there. I don't really know what they're up to. Why don't we play? I don't even think I want to play Cage unless we've confirmed company, which we didn't. I feel like they could easily be a company deck though. Our opponents. Let's play the negate, the click. Let's play Spellskite, not Welding Jar, and Bridge. And then I got to cut. We usually cut the Renegades. And we're not going to beat this guy on the table, so let's cut some Splicers. Maybe I just cut all the Splicers. Like, we're not going to beat our opponent on the board. And we'll either play Welding Jar or Finks. I just said we're not going to beat him on the board, so. You think he's Vaniferpod? I mean, I don't think I not keep a hand that has our combo 3 lands, a Vial, and Protection. Like, this hand is insane. Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much for the host, my friend. That's huge. Alright, let's keep. Yeah, so for those of you that have not been with us lately, this was a deck we brewed a long while ago, and it looked like this. This would have been in December? So it hasn't been like that long. But basically, it combines both of the ways that you can combo with Saheeli in Modern into one deck. And it's been an ambitious little labor of love. We've worked on it once before, and tonight we have a different version that's using Inspectors and Renegades to kind of give it that, not just more creatures to vial in off of the Aether Vial, it also gives us more artifacts. So, of course, Inspector gives us a clue. That's clue count for Whir. Renegade Science rules. Bane and Blue, thanks for that button. Welcome to the BrewSpytheMagicGuy show. Gargadon, that's sweet. Are we sure he's Vaniferpod? It looks like he's just using that enchantment, the new enchantment, to kind of combo Wombo combo off. Ooh, coding? Okay, that's interesting. I probably still just cast Spellskite. Well, no, we could. We're going to get to put the Spellskite in off of the Aether Vial next turn. I think I am supposed to. Put in the liquid metal coating. I don't actually have any other little tricks for the liquid metal coating except for maybe out of the sideboard I've got like a Wear Tear, which I did not bring in. I really, it's just here as a combo piece. Like I didn't really plan to do anything more with the card. To be perfectly honest with you, chat. But let's put it in. You could argue that Spellskite's still the better thing to cast here. But yeah, we've seen both combos. We've seen the deck do both the Saheeli, like the pure Saheeli artifact combo. That's just her plus this plus this. It's a little less vulnerable because obviously Guardian combo is really rather vulnerable to. I mean, both combos are vulnerable to a bolt. That's just how it is. But let's end step the Thraben Inspector into play. So both combos of which are indeed, they're both going to be a little bit vulnerable to burn. But here what's nice is, we just had the whole combo. Cool. I mean, we were waiting on 4th land. And I don't expect to draw the 4th land in this deck, by the way, chat. And we'll definitely put the Spellskite in before we pass it back. We'll just scry bottom. Now we don't have I know we have the liquid metal coating. We don't have the whole Saheeli combo just yet. We have the Guardian combo rolled up. So unless they do something pretty significant next turn, we're gonna win. So I like that our deck has all those different angles. I wish there was another way we could be finding Saheeli. Obviously, there are tutors. There is a tutor. It's like multicolored card. There is a tutor in our colors. It's like a split card from original Ravnica. It's not a great card. I mean, there's Glittering Wish. Glittering Wish can find Saheeli. Opponent does nothing. Passes the turn back. Okay. Yeah, but with the Spellskite, I feel pretty confident that we can just go for it. They've had enough. Opponent assumes that we're just on a streak here. Opponent assumes that I have it all. Opponent assumed that we had the Guardian. I don't know. It's weird. We'll keep making little tweaks. I think that the replica is adorable. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it entirely. Let's just let the War of Invention be mana ramp or a combo piece game 1. So like, this can either get something like, it could get Opal, it could get Citadel. Like if we already have an Opal, we're not going to go search up an Opal. We could just go get a Citadel. So like, you have to remember that this card has other modes in the deck. Like sometimes it's just getting us the 4th land so we can cast Conjuring or we can cast Guardian. Now if we are going to play Conjuring, we do need a few more red sources, right? So I've got Mountain, I've got Foundry, and I've got Steam Vents. We might want more red sources than that. Well, actually, the Mox Opals work for this combo too. So, for those of you that aren't aware of how, I add the last Renegade, and I guess extra Opals can also give us Revolt for Renegade. It'll bring the curve down a little bit. I think the Wizard replica was adorable, and I've been waiting to cut it, and now I have a reason to cut it. Now, you might be sitting there, you're like, well, BrewSpy, why are you going to run Psy, Master Thopterist over PA and Kieran Alar? I think in the dark, I'd rather have Thopterist, and then if I know that they have creatures that this is relevant for, you could argue that this is terribly strong in our deck because we have quite a bit of artifacts. You know, maybe I really should be playing 2 out of the sideboard because it's just, there's a lot of matchups where it's just very, very powerful. I don't know if I have a second copy of... No, I do. It's a very, very strong sideboard option for us. I think the Kitchen Finks could go. We haven't really seen a matchup where it was useful just yet. Could cut the Anger. Honestly, Anger isn't the best in our deck. Like if we're not cutting some of these cards post-board, maybe Anger's wrong. Maybe we're just still better off with Rest in Peace. Let's run it like that. I think we're committing a little bit too much to the board to really benefit from Anger, come to think of it. I think this is just really strong sideboard option for us. Pia, Kira, and Nalar. Has good synergy with Felidar. Sure, we're not main decking it, but I think it's actually really strong. You'll often see Felidar Guardian decks playing multiple Pia and Kira and Nalar. It's just such a beast of a card. So let's play another. I think we're on a bit of a roll tonight. And I didn't expect everybody from Boots Host to stick around. And the reason is it's late. Some of you might not even know me. Again, I really want to appreciate. I hope you guys got in here when you heard me saying how much I appreciate his host. You know, I got my start through very generous hosts like that. If you guys stick around, I am going to host us over to another stream. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with this concept. I don't think it's good, but I think it's interesting. I do think that it's interesting. I don't think that I want to play Inventor's Fair in the deck, even still. I don't think I want to. I don't think I want any other colorless lands besides the Darksteels, and the Darksteels are just a nod to the Opals. Okay, so this has the whole Saheeli artifact combo, just missing Saheeli. Hey, what's up, JC? How's it been? We'll keep. I have no idea what my opponent's on, so we'll just keep. This hand's not the greatest. Like, it's basically, unless we find Saheeli, it's basically just... okay, so this is going to be a grind, Misfill Plains. It's just basically a couple of splicers. But, like, there are games where we're going to have to... Okay, there you go. There are games where we're just going to have to grind, naturally. Yeah, I'll probably host over to Evan, especially since we're playing Modern too. All right, so what does Flame Shadow do for the deck? I'm glad you asked. So what happens is when you put the Felidar Guardian into play, Felidar Guardian enters the battlefield, may exile another target permanent you control. So if Felidar comes in and exiles a red mana producer, so in the case of our deck, it's either the Opal or he's going to blink, which is, it'd be safer for us to blink Foundry. That's why Foundry's actually in this mana base, because we just need more reds, not just the P and Kieran. It's for this card. So you might not know this. This is another way to combo through Felidar Guardian. No Saheeli required. So think of it like this. It's almost like we're running 5 Saheelis. That's why I like the first Conjuring. Conjuring also has synergy with the other creatures in the deck. We can, like, you know, blink some of these things. But anyway, so whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay red. Okay, so we'll pay red, and then we Felidar the red source, and we get to do it again. So we get a copy, the copied Felidar, blinks the red source, so it might be the mountain. That's why we're playing a basic mountain as well. It might be the mountain, it might be the steam vents, it might be a foundry, it might be an opal. And then when that comes back into play, we can tap it for red again to pay for the conjuring to do it again, to do it again, to do it again. And then you have an army of guardians and you kill them. Now, the reason you don't see it as much as it is oh, he's playing Emiria. It is technically a weaker combo, and the reason being is because you can't go off on 4 mana. You technically need 5, but Guardian gives you that 5th mana. So it's not as bad as it seems. It's weaker than Saheeli. I wouldn't play more of it than Saheeli. Like, the most I'd ever play of Flame Shadow Conjuring in a Felidar Guardian deck is maybe 1 to 2 copies. You'd still rather the play set of Saheeli Rai. So we can just put the coding into play. We want to get our artifact count up. Like, it's for Whir. Like, until we combo, yes, this is just same with the altar. Yes, it is literally just here for the Saheeli combo. Yes, it does nothing else in the deck besides give us improvise for Whir. Yes. So it's an additional copy of Saheeli, essentially. Yeah, it is. It's an additional copy of Saheeli that's harder to remove. So you'll actually, there's a lot of games where you're going to get a lot more value. Let me use my words properly. You'll find Piberino. You'll find in a lot of games that the Conjuring gets more value than the Saheeli does, because your opponents are gonna usually be able to. It's modern, like, we're playing really powerful decks. It's going to be easier for them to answer Saheeli than it is the Conjuring. So, if we're looking to add another combo piece, we could add another. So we drew Inspector, kind of an awkward place to draw the Inspector. Unless I want to play Inspector and crack the clue, and then we can start viling the splicers in. Opponent doesn't have a threat over there. Might be fine by me to just Inspector, crack clue. And then we can start putting... I'd rather put the splicers in off of the Aether Vial. I don't know what I'm getting with Whir just yet. We have all our colors. I don't really want to ramp with Whir. I don't really want another Aether Vial. I don't think I'd get anything other than the other piece of the combo in the dark. So we can do that next turn. Like, we'll Vial in the Blade Splicer. We'll Whir Invention. We can tap the Golem if we need to. Let me do some math here. Blue. We're... Ooh, okay. Doesn't die to Bolt. Yeah, you're right, Trophy. But Trophy's very deck specific. Let's crack this clue. Let's get a blue source, though. Let's get Steam Vents here. I was kind of hoping I would have hit a 2-drop there. All right, so mana is not our constraint at all. Which, again, that's going to happen often with this deck. That's kind of on purpose. I wanted to have a lot of mana to work with. So Flooded Strand, Opal. I know you're sitting there like, whoa, BrewSpy, like, you do have a lot of mana, but, like, what are you going to do with it? I know. That's what I'm trying to work through in my mind right now. Like, we have lots of mana. Like, again, like, I kind of want to include something else to get with Whir if I'm missing the other pieces. Like, we've jokingly talked about Inkwell Leviathan. I don't even think that's a joke. I think that is, like, all right, let's do some math here. How much mana do we have for this Whir of Invention if these are untapped? 1, 2, 3 to pay for it initially. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 mana for this Whir. I don't think it'd be crazy for us to include something like big, like a Worm Coil engine. Or, what would be another really strong threat for the Whir? Wormcoil has no synergy for Guardian. Like, I'd like for it to be something that has synergy with Guardian. I don't know what it would be. So why don't you guys maybe do a little bit of research while I'm playing this game out, and maybe there's something big, because this is going to happen more than once. Like, I've had a board state where we don't see Guardian or Saheeli. We just see a lot of our mana, and then we don't have something big and scary to get with the Whir. And it doesn't even need to be a creature, by the way. It could be like Staff of Nin. Like something like that. Wormcoil and Conjuring seems good, though. Oh, yeah, like making copies, right? Does it die? Except it's an artifact. Exile it. No, it says exile. They both say exile, so you don't get to keep the tokens. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a creature. I'm just curious if you guys have any ideas for what we could use with the mana. Benefit of it being a creature is we could tick up an Aether Vial all the way to 6, 5 or 6. It could be like a Batterskull. Like it doesn't have to be a creature. Like it could be Batterskull. Batterskull actually might be really good in the format right now, or maybe just on Moto, like a Batterskull. That's not that much to whir for. That's whir for 8 is Batterskull. I shouldn't just do this now. I don't know what I'm doing. It's not a good play. This is it's a little late in the day kind of BrewSpy situation. I mean, we beat this Gideon with a couple Blade Splicers, though, for now. I didn't mean to just vial it in, obviously. It's an expensive Stoneforge. Play Duplicant. Duplicant gives me, like, removal. I'm not playing any. I'm not playing any removal, actually. Yeah, Duplicant could be sweet. Which art would you play, though? New Duplicant? I think it's kind of cool looking. Classic Duplicant. Yeah, Duplicant's a cool idea. I don't have any removal. We were playing Paths originally. I cut them to add more combo pieces. Get a Blightsteel. I think I want it to be 6 or less. That's why I'm hesitant about something like Leviathan, because this is just a ton. On Whir, it's a lot. It would be 12, right? Blue, 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 plus 8. Sorry, it'd be 11. It would be 11. I totally like screwed up my last turn. I was supposed to cast Blade Splicer and vial the other in. I mean, it's fine. Well, no, it's a misplay, but we'll make it work. Spine of Ishsa. Spine is dirty with Eldar Guardian. That's true. It's not that much more than some of these other options. Ooh. Ooh. Blink this. Copy it with Saheeliator. Whew. Opponent shows us their hand. Banishing Light. Oof. Well, they don't have any instant speed interaction. What do they want to banish? Just going after the coding? Oh, they go after the Golem. Yeah, I feel really dumb that I didn't put the other into play. I'm okay with this, though. I'm really okay with him going after a token. It's not the greatest block in the world, but I technically could double block there. Trading Post. Trading Post could be cool. Yeah, Trading Post is good too. I mean, like, Trading Post would give us a lot to do with the artifacts should we flood out like this. I mean, like, a lot of our deck is devoted to mana, so, like, I really should have, like, another thing to go get with Whir. We'll put this all the way up to 4 for kitties. Another Aether Vial. Like, we have tons and tons of mana here, chat. But, nothing to do with it. And again, like if we did have something to go get here, what would we want it to be? Would we want it to be Batterskull? Would we want it to be Spine? Would we want it to be something like a Trading Post? Trading Post would be X's 4. That's not that difficult. I like me some Trading Post. I was into this card when it came out. There's lots of different things. This is so flexible. This card is so flexible. You're up against Burn, all of a sudden you're gaining life by pitching extra like Mox Opals and stuff. You're up against most anything else. We're just cycling the whole deck. It gives all of the artifact part of our deck cycling. We can cycle Darksteels, etc. We need blockers. We can make blockers. Like, for example, if we're up against Death Shadow, blockers is good. Obviously, they might still have a Battle Rage. If they remove the coding, like, this does give us a way to get back coding Brood. It gives us a way to get back a lot of these one-offs. I actually really like that idea, Melfina. You hit the nail on the head. Boom. Trading Post. I think it's Trading Post. I think some of those other options were strong, and we might run one other, but I actually really like this idea, Melfina. What about Staff of Domination? Staff of Domination would give you a lot of options. I don't know if we're a good candidate for this. Tapping, untapping, drawing cards. Wrath. No. We didn't see a Wrath in his hand. He may not have revealed it, though, to the Martyr of Sands. I feel like I would attack with Gideon there if I were my opponent. No, it feels bad, man. I mean, we could win out of nowhere with Saheeli now because... which one is this? This is the... One of these I want to always know. Actually, that'll affect both of them, won't it? So let's just be patient. So we'll put this one to 3. Yes and no. I just wish we had something to get here with this whir. You know? I'll probably just end step, go grab the... Oh, I should have waited. I should have waited before I played my land because I could have milled him. I'll probably just go get the other piece of the Saheeli combo just so we don't draw it. Like I'd rather it's just in play than I draw it. You're lost on liquid metal coating. So what happens is another combo that you guys might not be familiar with. That's okay. So Saheeli plus these is infinite. What happens is actually really cool. So Alter says whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent puts the top card of the library into the graveyard. Liquid metal coating says target permanent becomes an artifact. What happens if you make Saheeli herself an artifact? Think on that for a moment. Think on that for a moment. These don't serve any other purpose in the deck. They're why we're splashing the whir. They're literally just here to do the combo. But think on that for a moment. What happens? And I don't even know what we would cut to squeeze in the trading post. But I just would like something to get with whir that's not too expensive. But I mean, this shores up a lot of like this. This shores us up against burn a little bit. This shores us up against. It gives us a draw engine, gives us a block engine, lets us recur the pieces should they get like thought seized or removed or whatever game 1, and then post board like I can get back some of these things that might get destroyed. So I actually really like this idea. Is that a non-bow? Can't cast. No, we can still target stuff in the graveyard. Yes. So you're seeing all the different combos that Saheeli could possibly have. Maybe I will just cut a Splicer. Is that crazy? Splicer's so much better than Renegade. Renegade's like really the weakest link here. I kind of just want to cut another one. I think that's fine. I think we'll stick with 4 Inspectors, 4 Splicer, 3 Renegade. It's just filler. Renegade's just filler. Like we've cut down to 3 before. Originally to squeeze in the side. I want something else for whir to get, just so we're never again in a board state like this. I mean, we could just main deck the bridge. There's plenty of creature decks in the format. Main decking Snaring Bridge is fine as well because we can combo after. Like we draw a card the next turn and then we do it, and these are all 1 power, which again is kind of nice with bridge. Really, the only creature in my deck that doesn't enjoy the Ensnaring Bridge is like the sideboard Vendilion Click. The Kitchen Finks, the tokens that come off of Blade Splicer. Most everything else in our deck is happy. I mean, let's just do the math. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have whir for 9. We have whir for 9, and I don't have something to go get that's sweet with it. How embarrassing, right? Like, let's just scare our opponents a little bit. Let's just tap all our mana, basically. Like, look at this. Look how much mana this is. 7, it could have been 9. Like, imagine, like, what if this was Spine of Ish-Sah? We could take out the Gideon. Right? Like, maybe Spine is kind of neat. I mean, Spine actually has synergy for Guardian and Rye. I actually thought the Spine was kind of cool. I would maybe run Spine of Ish-Sah. I actually don't mind this idea. This is synergy for all the blinking that we have. It's actually kind of spicy. So we're kind of a big mana deck. So let's go get Alter. I know, my opponent's like, what are they going to get? A 1 mana thing? What? Alright, yes, no. Oh, we win. Oh, look at that. And I know you're like, BrewSpy, come on, man. No, we had it the whole time. We had it. We're always lucky. As Stealth Pants would say, I don't want to steal his catchphrase. I'm not going to do that. But Stealth Pants would have some words to say. For those of you that don't know what happened to him, he's in Hawaii. So she's an artifact. She will copy herself. We keep the copy. Keeping the copy. Always yield. Do 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 do. I know, right? Like we're sitting here like our deck's bad, and then we just win out of nowhere. That turn 7 win though. Do 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 combo. Ba, ba, ba. Oh, they're gonna make us do the whole thing. Oh God. All right, chat. Well, anybody had something interesting happen this week? Anything new or exciting for some of our viewers out there you want to share in the chat? Okay, they scoop. Ba, ba, ba. It's my little combo music. All right, so we don't have something juicy to go get with the Whir. We just got combo pieces and like sideboard hate. So they are playing Emiria combo. Sorry, Emiria, just Emiria. They have quite a bit of graveyard synergy. They're going to be using Proclamation of Rebirth. We're going to see Squadron Hawk, and they're going to put the Hawks back into the deck. How do we want to fight that? I think that some of the fairer parts of our deck are weaker. I mean, we're not going to cut all of that. I'm just saying that this is like where we could cut. I actually still like Inspector because it's cantrip. So I don't want to cut any part of the combo. So we're not going to cut anywhere here. We're going to keep this 15. I don't really want to cut any of my mana because I'm only a 20 land deck, so I don't want to cut Mox. I don't want to cut Prism. I mean, I think it's evident that we do want to include some other things we could get with the Whir. I know, we're just a top deck master. Grixis Dragons. Congrats, P. Brino. That's sweet. Wear Tear, maybe. Wear Tear does give an extra dimension to the liquid metal coating. I thought about adding more than one. I mean, it's not really something I want to do. I mean, negate, Vendilion Click. Pia, Kira, and Nalar is good when we're just grinding. Like, the thing is the way that we're going to grind, I mean, they're a Wrath of God deck. Like, we don't really want to win through the board necessarily. I'd rather win off of my Planeswalkers. Kitchen Finks is good against Wrath of God. Obviously, it's a Nombo if we run the Cage or the Rest in Pieces. I mean, do we want to go after their graveyard? Like, yes, they have quite a bit of graveyard synergy. I guess let's run all the ways we could maybe deal with Planeswalkers. That would be Negates and P. Kieran Nalar. P and K. If we want to run the Graveyard Hate, that would be the Rest in Pieces and the Grafdiggers. How about this? Let's run one of each. I don't necessarily want to draw a second piece of Graveyard Hate. I'm fine with one being tutorable and one we might just draw. I don't really think we could afford to draw the other Rest piece. Spyglass is another answer, of course. Orbs is good against the Hawks that are going to happen. I still think that's overkill. I'd rather just run like a Splicer or the Spellskite. Actually, let's run the Wear Tear over. Like, we know the game's going to go long. I'm going to actually cut an Opal. I know, it's greedy. I know. Why don't you just... Absolutely, Dark Scythe. And to that point, we've played something like that. I think you should brew it. I'd love to see it. I fully support that idea, Dark Scythe. I'd love to see a prototype. I'm not saying that to challenge you specifically. I just, on the norm, on any given night that I'm brewing and I'm showing decks that I'm working on, I get lots of comments that are like that. I rarely get, and I want you to be the difference, Dark Scythe. I want you to be someone to put this to rest and someone that changes my opinion of, because usually when I ask that question, I never get a deck list back. I get awesome suggestions. I get people that are like, oh man, BrewSpy, do this. Oh man, you should do that. I rarely get somebody that takes the 5 to 10 minutes to build what that deck would look like and show it to the chat. Ever. There've been like a couple times, but it's okay, we have Pia. We have Negate though, but we have Vile. So what do we want to do? I think I still get Hallowed Fountain. I think I still get Fountain. Because, like, we're probably not going to hit double red for this. This is probably going to come in off the Vial. Well, they might go after the Vial. Let's make it so we can cast Negate and we're thinking about the red count. But that's not a challenge. I'm just saying I rarely see somebody, they suggest something in chat and I like to challenge them. I like to say, why don't you build it? I'd love to see it. And people tend to not do it. So I appreciate you though, Darkside. I'm not trying to call you out or anything. I appreciate your comment. We have built a deck that was just artifacts and the Saheeli combo. We have done it. I think it was fine. I don't think it was great. I think it was fine. I think the advantage of this style of Saheeliator is what we've been calling it, like Tesserator, Saheeliator. The advantage of this is we are not just on the artifact dimension. In other words, the advantage here is we have a lot of just like natural synergy, like things that the Feldar can blink. These are also all making artifacts for the improvise. Like a lot of thought went into this. I promise you, I've played the deck that you just suggested, or the concept you just suggested. I actually, if we take our time, I actually should have a list for it in here somewhere. We've played it. I'm not trying to say it's a bad idea. It's fine. It's just in a lot of ways it's kind of like a worse artifact deck than what you could be playing. Like in this deck, like the artifacts and the creatures actually, strangely enough, complement one another. And we actually haven't lost a match tonight. I hope you stay and you watch and you check this out. I'm not trying to be conceited about our deck. It's just a little brainchild of mine. But we haven't actually lost a game or a match. We've lost a game, but we haven't lost a match tonight. Yeah, but there's already a better War Prison deck, Darth Scythe. Like this is its own thing. This is like a new beast. This is it's like a thing, you know. Like that's kind of the problem. I like where you're thinking. Just you have to also remember. I think I just pentad here. You have to remember that, and again, like okay, BrewSpy, if your response to something is, oh, well, there's already something that does that better, then why would we ever play this, right? There are already plenty of decks in the format that are pure creature combo that are perfectly more reasonable than this idea. I just like that this is multi-dimensional. We had games where we were playing kind of like a Saheeli Rai style of combo where we had a version where it was like 4 altars, 4 liquids, 4. The problem with that is we weren't able to find the Saheeli consistently enough. So multicolored. You'd have to have a tutor. Search multicolored card. There is one. It's like a random split card from original Ravnica. Is like search for. Here it is. Search your library for multicolored card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. Then shuffle. Demand. So you would need a white splash. Now, what if we were to put demand in this deck? What would it even find? It would be an extra copy of Saheeli. And it would be an extra copy of Finks. What does it do on its own? If you have green in the deck as well, it's a bunch of tokens. But this is a very weak tutor, right? There are other tutors that exist for Saheeli Rai. There's Transmute. You could transmute to find her. Like that's like some of the stuff we were coming up with. We were like, okay, can we tutor for her? Could we wrong transmute card. Could we transmute for her? There are ways to get extra copies in a pinch. This is also a blocker. In a pinch, there are other ways to get extra copies of Saheeli into your deck. So you could certainly take the deck in that realm, Dark Scythe, if you wanted to. I think that's exactly what it would look like. I think it'd be so important if your deck was all in on the Saheeli that you'd need protection for her, you'd need lots of cantrips, and you would need tutors. And they're not very good tutors. They're very susceptible to what? The reason I don't like these kind of heavy tutors in Modern, one of the reasons why I've kind of stepped away from cool cards such as, what was it? I used to love brewing with Glittering Wish in Modern because it was one of the only legal wishes. Now there's also the Eldrazi Wish, but nobody's done anything with it. I'd love to create like a Blue-tron variant that was actually like a blue Eldrazi Tron hybrid, and it actually was using that wish. I think that'd be really cool. Alas, probably not a thing. So we can't play Saheeli and have protection for her. Awkward, right? I think I'd rather just put the altar in play. In an emergency, we could... and again, like the Aether Vial isn't ready to do the combo yet anyway. What about Mastermind's acquisition? Ooh, Stony Silence. Well, we have Wear Tear, though. I don't think I want to spend the negate. I think I'd rather use the wear tear. So here's what we can do. We can float white. They're still doing stuff while I have mana in my pool, which is weird. They're showing me their hand as well. Okay, so he doesn't have another, to my knowledge. He only showed us X's4. He wanted to keep one card secret, or maybe it's just a land. Anyway, so we'll tear the Stony. We do care about Stony Silence. We do. Now we have access to the negate again. So Santa's a bunch of Hawks, Kami, False Hope, which is a really neat card. He's going to play the Kami. Kami does turn off our combo. We can kill Kami with Pia Kira Nalar. Have I tried a Time of Legends brew? I believe so. That's the enchantment, Time of Legends? Or are you talking about the tutor? There's some really cool tutors in Modern that have not really been used. We've brewed with a few of them. There's one that searches for legendary creatures. Since Dominaria, and of course some other sets since then have come out, Time of Legends is it's the all legendary creatures you have are stronger, right? I'm thinking of Time of Need. But Time of Need, this is a cool build around card. Search your library for a legendary creature, reveal it. You could play this with like Aether Vial. That is a cool card. We've done some really cool stuff with that. And there's some like infinite combos that are involved with some like infinite combos you can assemble. Like Anafenza feeds into some of those combos. But anyway, I'm assuming that's the all legends get +2/+2, right? Time of Need. Isn't that the white enchantment? No, not Time of Need. Okay, it is Time of Need. Okay, that's what you said. Sorry, I misread. Yeah, no, we have. It was like a Teysa combo at some point. We've tried a couple different Time of Needs decks. I do think it's cool. What's interesting is this one of the few ways to tutor up like a Grizzlebrand and then you put it in the graveyard and then it's like how many pieces is that combo BrewSpy? We've looked into try to find different ways to like make those kind of like Grizzlebrand styles of decks more consistent. It's very difficult to do. So our opponent's hand's not all that impressive. Like we will eventually get there, I think. We don't have enough for this whir. I don't necessarily just want to put Saheeli in here just to... I mean, she wouldn't die. She would live. Could just put her into play. What are the advantages to putting Saheeli Rai into play now? Off of the Pentad Prism. I get an extra scry. I wouldn't be able to hold up the negate. His hand doesn't have anything that we care about negating. Maybe this is greedy, but... Like, we didn't need to rush this is the thing. You know? You'd be surprised. We're not trying to boast here on the BrewSpy show. Does this change anything? This gets us closer to the whir of invention. I'm gonna greedily bottom that. That's crazy. You crazy, BrewSpy. Bottoming a land? You crazy. Because, like, watch him just remove the Aether Vial or play another Stony and I don't have negate up. Like an idiot. Well, no, we know his hand is 2 Hawks, a Ranger, oh, and 1 Unknown, and then the Unknown is a Serra Ascendant. Whew. So unfortunately, I can't go straight for the combo. The reason being, opponent has Kami of False Hope. Obviously, if I tried to go for it, it wouldn't do what we want it to do. Next turn, we'll be able to Aether Vial in the Pir and Kira Nalar. Oh, I should have kept that land. I'm such an idiot. We did need the land because I needed to be able to activate P and Kira Nalar and shoot the Kami. BrewSpy, come on, man. We did need that land on top. Why did I bottom it? I didn't think about it, chat. Didn't think about it. Now I'm kind of hoping we see. Now I'm hoping we see like Mox Opal or. Oh, he's ignoring the Saheeli. I like it. Ignores her. Goes face. We're at 11. Okay. So that was a mistake. Let's see if we can recover from our mistake. I mean, technically, if I had enough blue, we could just go for the... Okay, does that fix things? That does not fix what I did. It is a perfect copy, by the way. If I was to minus Saheeli, the problem is she'd die the next time I try to minus her on the Guardian. The Pentad's like not the worst thing in the world to draw. Because it gives me more mana to work with next turn. I can shoot. The problem is if I shoot the turn after, we're not doing with the things that we need to do. I could even copy the Pier and Kier Nalar to give us more blockers. I could just copy P and K. Since you have Alter, can't you just Violin, Felidar, and Mill them out? Gallagher said it too. Oh yeah, that works. What am I saying? We don't need to attack. Will there even be a next turn? I guess if I just realize the fact that we have an infinite kill here, that would be nice. I'm sorry, chat. I forgot about the Alter, Saheeli, Guardian, Mill combo. You know what? It doesn't come up that often. I'm going to be completely honest with you, chat. Oh, did I just punt? No, I didn't punt. I technically could have blinked the Aether Vial instead here, which is the better play. Isn't it? Or a land. I mean, we don't have to use it. I guess I could still use it and we just keep the original Saheeli. So we copy you, we do the thing. Right, we don't have to attack. And the reason if you just get tuning in is because of Kami of False Hope. It's sacrifice, prevent all combat damage. So we're gonna blink Saheeli. Well, no, that would have been fine because she would have been a new Saheeli. Ooh, Sun Titan. Runed Halo. Hello. And it doesn't really matter which Guardian I target. Opponent is going to make us do the whole thing. So again, I'll say it. Any of you guys have anything interesting going on in life? We even have a negate to back this up too. This is gonna be a while. This is an advantage though to being this variant of the combo. Alter's sweet. Alter is really sweet. Making a million Guardians. Gonna mill my opponent's deck. I don't know, like, what, do they have like an Eldrazi in there or something? Like, why not scoop? Why not scoop? Oops. Yes. What sucks is it's a new permanent, so I don't think we have to do this 33 more times. Are you kidding me, opponent? Come on. Opponent. Let me try to always yield. I just don't think it's going to work because it's technically a new Guardian each time. I'm just going to sit there and make us do it. It's only 17 more times. I thought Alter is... But Alter is... You're getting 2 triggers on each one? Oh, true. It's a new Guardian and it's a new Saheeli Rai. Good call. Good call. I should complain less. Sorry that I'm complaining at all, chat. Like, we won the game. That's awesome. Like, we're going to get there. We're not even in the red. Unless I, like, misclick. So, I'll concentrate. But it's like, it's not even like we're in a league right now. That's what's frustrating about my opponent's choice to sit there. I mean, maybe he went to go get a sandwich. I don't know. Go, Deceiver Exarch. Go, Gadget Saheeli combo. Yeah, at least each time we loop, we are getting 2 triggers. You're right. Oh my goodness. All right, opponent. It's all good, GG's. Okay. Hey, you know what? Not everybody likes combo as much. In these situations, it's best not to say anything, honestly. It's best not to say anything. Think it's best not to say. And they don't know we're streaming. Like this poor person doesn't know that he just blasted that comment to everybody in this channel. You know? He doesn't know, doesn't need to find out. You want me to thank my opponent, K-Fink? They don't even need to know. And then he says good games and then still doesn't scoop. It's like, I get it. I get it. I get it. You've got your fair white deck. You're frustrated by combo. It always seems to get the better of you. I've been there. I've played decks that like have little to no game against combo in different formats before. I get it. But I'm doing the things. Opponent hoping I time out. Opponent hoping that I misclick. I get it. You want to make sure that I know what I'm doing. I get it. We get you, opponent. We get you. Oh, they're streaming too, Ooze? Tell him he's on candid camera? No. But yeah, you never know who you're gonna run into. I mean, that's why. I mean, in my life, I kind of practice like treat people as best you can because you never know who they are, and you never know when. Yeah, you never know when you're on candid camera, right? But anyway, we got 4 minutes to do this, guys. 13 cards left. We can do it. We can do it. Don't randomly have an Emrakul in your deck, opponent, please. This is like watching paint dry. I feel like we're gonna crash Moto from just too many Guardians. I just don't get the it's all good games yet. We're still here. I don't get you, opponent. And I'm not gonna try. You know what? I'm not gonna understand every person that I run into. It's just not possible. We can try. We can try to put ourselves in his shoes again. Like I'm like trying to think from his side of the table. Like I'm sitting here with Martyr Proc, right? Like a white mono white control, and I would imagine you do have very little interaction for combo decks like this. We'll be fine. Like, you look at Liliana Emblem, that'll crash Magic Online, Ooze. Yes. 7 cards left. Can we do it? I mean, he had some stuff that he brought in. I saw like a Celestial Purge. That does hit Saheeli. I like it. Celestial Purge is definitely a sideboard card we got to watch out for. The reason is it's not something I can redirect to. I mean, thank goodness it doesn't show up more in Modern because it's very good against Saheeli combo. It's not something we can easily interact with because you can't redirect that, for example, to a Spellskite. It's one of the ways we try to protect our Saheeli. Like, we're in a Spellskite. How we beat Kami? We're milling him. His whole deck's in his graveyard now, almost. We get to look at what he's kind of done here. Stony, Ruined Halo. Okay. I'm just curious. Hex Parasite, that's spicy. He literally has a Hex Parasite for my Planeswalker. I love it. That's spicy. Did you guys see that? He's got Hex Parasite. That's awesome. There you go. Trying to take some counters off of my my Saheeli. That's spicy. It's a cool way to kill a Planeswalker. I think I'm done though after this chat. It is like early in the morning. I think I want to send you guys to Evan. I don't want to. I always do that where I tell you guys too soon that I'm maybe signing off, and then anyway, we got there. I just want to reset the Saheeli. And then we'll end with a Scry. We'll end with a Scry. We will bottom. We even have negate. I mean, it's like what like we had it all, chat. We had all of it. And I'm not trying to boast. It's too early for me to say if our brew is good. Easily. You know, I will say I think this deck is really cool. I like that it gets to use both sides of Saheeli. I I have no words for my opponent. I have no words for you. I have no words. If you don't, how about this? If you can't handle the occasional combo, I just don't think Modern's a good format for you. I'm not trying to be insulting to the opponent or people that don't like combo. Like, people like different things. People play decks for different reasons. I will say, if you can't handle the occasional combo, Modern is not a great format for you to enjoy, because you will occasionally see the occasional combo. So I think this deck's come a long way from this first iteration. I think this version of it was very bad. I think this version is definitely going more so in the right direction. I don't know if Renegade is the answer. I don't know if we should be playing things like Spine and Post. I like the idea of Spine because we have ways to blink it. Could we do cool things with Spine and Trading Post even just as is? Like, okay, if we have... first of all, if we have both Spine and Trading Post, how are we losing anyway? But I just... like, we can sacrifice the Spine. It returns the Spine. We play the Spine, sacrifice the Spine. That's kind of neat. You called him a crybaby. Hey, I didn't say that. Sack Spine, draw a card, get Spine back. That's spicy. Oh, we don't know Ooze. Like, it's too early into the deck for us to say if it's good or ever would be good. It was fun, though. We won every single match we played. Again, I'm not trying to boast in my deck building abilities or... No. We threw this together. We added some cards to it. It's fun. It's cool. It's doing some interesting things. We're using, like, a lot of the broken mana that's in Modern. Like, we're using all of it. Opal, Pentad, Aether Vial. Excuse me, this is some of the most broken mana that still exists in Modern, period. And this is us, doing this in a format that has Colligan's Command. Like, I'm not saying the deck is good. It's something interesting. It's something that I enjoy. I have some other decks I'd love to show you guys that we've been developing that I have kind of in the back of my mind. I mean, heck, we could have been playing Slot Machine, you know? So yeah, maybe like Post and Spine would be kind of neat. But I think I am done for the evening. I would love to see more of you guys do the BrewOff now that we honestly know what's going on, or now that I know what's going on. So please, 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 if you have decks that you want featured on the show, the BrewOff is one of the best ways you can get them on the show. And I think for now, I like Jade's idea. The structure, until further notice, is going to be that we'll just feature them on the stream. Spine is like nothing. Powerful card, worth nothing. I mean, Tron Mana would cast this. So, on another note, I would like to explore more Wish decks, more Tutor decks in Modern. I like Tutor decks too much. I do. Honestly, I should just buy these cards instead of... Sometimes, like, a card is so cheap, I'd rather just have it in my collection than rent it. Spine of Ish. Sa. Oh yeah, did you Melfina? Right. Is there anywhere you can explain? Yes, there's a command for it. It's been updated. Hopefully it reads properly now. Because I screwed up, guys, is what I was telling you earlier. I actually don't have enough credit with any one vendor to get one for freebies. That's embarrassing. I have like a lot of my credit like spread out. If you guys have never used this, it makes Moto life so much better, by the way. Like, besides partnering up with Card Hoarder, oh, it's funny, there are ads right there. This gives you price tracking. I particularly really like this website. If I'm not grabbing the cards from Card Hoarder, this is where I'll look just to kind of see, okay, what's going on with this card price-wise, extrapolate it over the next, past few months, years, whatever. You can like make it bigger. You can look at it like this card was it ever worth something? It was back in 2016. So, you can look at that kind of stuff. And then you look and you can put in your username, and then you can update and see, where do I have the credit? I got like little bits and pieces with a bunch of different vendors, and I haven't, like, we almost had enough here. Anyway, trading post. So maybe we can get this one for freebies. Can't get this either. I can from Apple Grove. And then it also has a request, that's really cool in my opinion. Like, as a avid Moto user, that's really nice. I'd love to rebuild Ascendancy, by the way. I saw Arthur showed me an Ascendancy deck, and that got my juices going as far as like what I could do with that kind of archetype again. Like an Ascendancy deck right now in let me put this in the chat, though, if you want to play it. Saheeliator. Yeah, this was sweet. I mean, it's a convoluted, complicated deck. I mean, some games I imagine we might just win by blinking Blade Splicer a bunch. I have no idea. We didn't have that come up, though. We had the combo each time. Oops, wrong button. Yeah, don't clear out just yet. And the reason, chat, is that I want to host over to my dear friend, my teammate, Evan. He's part of the Modern Day Heroes team with me and Fluffy Wolf. We're supporting each other's content. We're not in an official team yet. That's just because one of us would have to be a Twitch partner to be able to do that. But yeah, like, I think that we're well on our way. If you guys want to stick around, I am in the mood to brew. I'm not necessarily in the mood to play any more games just because I need to go to bed very soon. I've got work 8 in the morning, and it is past midnight. It's 1 actually in the morning. So I definitely streamed a lot later. I need more ticks. Come on, man. No. So let's close this, and let's real quick throw together. If I was to rebuild the Glit Wish, so the Glittering Wish variant of Ascendancy, what would it look like now? In the current flavor that is modern right now. I just think the deck would be disadvantaged. It's a deck that oh, thanks for hitting that button. Nana Powers. Nana just Powers. Appreciate you, Nana. Thanks for hitting that button. Welcome to the BrewSpytheMagicGuy show. So if we were to doing a glittering wish, I love wish decks, by the way. I love brewing wish decks. Like, I think the 2 wish decks that I would maybe play at the moment would be, well, I guess technically all the different wishes that exist in Modern, they're going to be this. It's going to be the Eldrazi wish. Search Eldrazi Outside Collection. Something like that. What is that called? Eldritch something. Not Eldritch Evolution. What is it? What is the name of that? I see the art in my head and how much it costs. I don't remember the name. Is it Cokes? Thanks, Melfina. You would know that card. Melfina's into like big Eldrazi's. But this would be kind of a cool wish card too. It'd probably be a really bad Bluetron, but like this would be kind of a neat. Like, you could run like weird stuff. You could run like odd, even, like the Void Winnower, I think is the name of that guy. Void Winnower? Yeah, like you could play like weird stuff like this. Like, oh, well, they've got a combo that like even stops. Like they're a deck that even is really important. You could go get this. I don't know. That's sweet. But then it's like you got to staple the mana cost of this to that, and then it's like, oh, well, it's 12 mana. Mono Bluetron has a decent number of flex slots. Well, yeah, and then you put like, so you put like a Thought-Knot Seer. Like, what would you have? You'd have a Thought-Knot Seer. You'd have a Void Winnower. You would have Maybe one of the Kozileks. Like it's kind of cool because you get to shore up a little bit of room in your. You get to run the Eldrazi Sweeper. Like a lot of games, it would probably just be you tutor into a Sweeper. So I think this would be neat. What is it called? Ooh, None of This World. Ooh, is that spicy too? I have no idea. But probably more often than not, it would be an All Is Dust, right? A lot of the time, I bet these, if we run like 2 or 3 of these, they would probably be All Is Dust a lot of the time. Mono Blutron's gas, though? Yeah, I mean, this would just be a different take on it. Probably a worse take, but it would be interesting. Ulamog would be good because he blows up stuff. Yeah, Nulamog. Which Ulamog? I mean, like again, like I could see, and then another Wish deck could be. I mean, there's some cool tutors that have been printed lately. Like in paper, I'm playing the new Black tutor in a Death Shadow deck. I've tried Esper. I've tried a Grixis. Which Ulamog? Like Ceaseless? Which Ulamog are you thinking? This one? I mean, would you want something as big and bad as Emrakul? Like that's the thing is like you start to. It's like you would go get based on how much mana you have. Basically, is how the deck would start to evolve. Is yeah, like based on how much mana you have is how you would depict. Excuse me, how you would decide what you get with the Cokes. Kozilek's good. So, like, you know, we could think about all the different, like, again, like, I think a lot of the time it's going to be an All Is Dust. I don't know when you would want Not of This World. Maybe if you already have the win condition, you just want to protect it. I don't know. Wait, Butcher or the other one? New one. The new one, I imagine, is what you mean. Distortion? This one? And I don't think there are really any other targets for Cokes that I can think of. Right? It does say Eldrazi cards, so it would work on these Eldrazi tribal spells, which is kind of neat. But yeah, like a Glittering Wish Ascendancy deck could be cool too. I mean, I'd love to like develop and brew more decks that use wishes because it's not something you see very often in Modern. Let's just type it out. Jeskai Ascendancy. It's just these are really cool decks. Now this is the Wish deck that's actually put up some numbers back in the day. 4-color Ascendancy is already, or I should at least say was, an established deck. Let's put this over into the sideboard. Another deck that could use wishes would be Arthur was telling me instead of playing Teachings that I should be playing the new tutor in the Reclamation. What is it that we played this earlier on stream? I actually had a lot of fun. Like a Wilderness Reclamation plus the new, what is it? Search library outside. There's the black tutor that's like. You can search for it in your deck. Yeah, Masterminds. So, like, you could be playing, like, the biggest, best mana with technically the best... I don't want to say the best tutor in Modern, but I would say, like, a tutor that can find most anything. I wouldn't play a playset. I'd play, like... Usually these decks play 3 Teachings, 2 to 3 Teachings, so maybe you try this instead of Teachings, and then you'd play either 4 or 3 Reclamations. And then that could be a deck, too. Like, so you could build a deck around... Acquisition. I wouldn't want to build it any other way than Wilderness Reclamation. You've coaxed for Kozilek. Thought-Knot was the most. Oh yeah, I would imagine you want more than one Thought-Knot Seer. But I think these ideas are interesting. I think that wishes are not something that's often explored in Modern. And, you know, somebody's welcome to point out and be like, well, BrewSpy, the reason is because they are weak, right? I don't think that's necessarily it. I think Ascendancy is very strong. I think the Wilderness Reclamation deck, especially after playing it, very strong. I think a Blutron could also be an interesting home for using wishes. Probably wouldn't play all the different Coaxes. I'd have to do some research and see a little bit how, you know, Eldrazi Tron's constructed. Maybe we take some pieces from... I think the last time we tried to brew with Coax, we built it like more like Eldrazi Tron. I think a better way to use this would be more like a Blutron, but anyway. I've dabbled actually with acquisition. You have such strong board cards, and it gets ad nauseum. I could see that. Right. I mean, like acquisition's like kind of like the ultimate wish in the fact that no matter where the card is, you can get it always. I mean, like this definitely excites me because like cards that are a little bit too situational that even when you want them boarded in, you don't want to board them in. Does that make sense? I know that's a little bit confusing. I mean, maybe this is what we should brew because we've explored both of these before. We'll just build 3 decks at once, right? But this would be interesting because, again, like I'll say it in a different way. The interesting thing about Masterminds is like no matter where the card is, you can get it. And B, even if I want sideboard cards, I never actually have to put them into the deck to get use out of them, right? So this would be it would be the bug colored teachings, but instead of teachings, we would just be playing like Damnation. Let's just move this over a little bit further. I do want to re-explore Ascendancy though at a future date. I like that card. I built some of it in paper. I like the deck so much. And that's rare for me. You guys know that I do most of my testing on. So we'll have like a Tutorable Damnation, maybe a Fracturing Gust. I really like the Fracturing Gust in the Bug Teachings, Reclamation Teachings shell. I think this is actually really powerful sideboard card. But it's like you would never really want it to be in the deck. Now, the exception would be like, okay, clearly we're up against Boggles. Clearly we're up against something where this is bonkers. Let's put it in the deck so we have technically one more chance to draw it. That's when I would put it in. Like, but like we don't really want either of these main board, you know? We liked the Widewind, right? The fairy, the one that's like just really, really hard to get rid of. I kind of liked this Resilient Threat. When you have a ton of mana, I really like her. I also like Aetherling. I think this deck actually is a really sweet Aetherling deck. The problem with Aetherling is doesn't have flash, but it's been something I've thought about. We've tried to fairy. I mean, like everything changes when we no longer have to like. If you're playing acquisition, you know, being able to get anything, things start to change. It could be a planeswalker, you know. It doesn't have to be Widewind or even like Aetherling's actually still pretty cool. But, you know, it could be a planeswalker. Like, are there some bug-colored walkers that we would want? Would we want a Tutorable Jace? Like, you know, like that's kind of my problem is like when you have when you have the ability to get anything, what would you get, right? If we have the ability to get anything, what would you get? I mean, Jace, arguably one of the most powerful planeswalkers. Aetherling, arguably one of the most powerful creatures. Yeah, I don't know. What would you get if you could get anything? Would it be Liliana the Veil? She's one of the most powerful planeswalkers as well. Totally Modern Legal. She should see more play. I mean, both Lilies are strong in different board states. But, you know, like, do we go more into, like, are we going to be playing planeswalkers? Are we going to be running those kinds of elements? And I think we still want some cheaper spells, too. Just because like sometimes you're gonna acquisition and you want to use the card immediately. Maybe we want to use a shell from like where we were last time. Here, let's go ahead and do that. Let's put this away. What was the name of it? We still haven't played Slot Machine, by the way. If you guys want to know what potentially the new hotness is, this is from Canister MTG. I'll show this to you briefly. This is my take on the archetype. It's a Semblance Anvil combo. Yes, this is scary that it exists. Is it good? It's okay. We played it a little bit. It wasn't like the most amazing thing ever. It was interesting. I'll put it in the chat for you if you want to play it. This could be the future of like a bad, more fair KCI. But yeah, like an acquisition instead of teachings. Reclamation acquisition could be kind of cool. So let's pull up the teachings decks. What do we call it? Bug teachings, I think. I think we called it bug teachings. Isn't that what we called it? Thought that was what we called it. And the benefits is like you know, it's almost like you start thinking about like Bring to Light. Well, Bring to Light actually can't get planeswalkers. I'm just thinking of another tutor that I actually really enjoy. I mean, the fact that, I mean, this can't get enchantments, this can't get planeswalkers, can't get artifacts. So those are all things that we could potentially start to think about with this other tutor. Oh, what do we call it? Did I just call it Reclamation Teachings, maybe? Very possibly what I called it. So here was Dry Bormir's idea for like a Rug Reclamation Teachings. The cool thing about Rug, obviously it's a different deck. It would be a Teachings deck, and you just splash the Teachings. Just to touch on this real quick. God, what did I do with the other deck? Could have sworn we called it Bug. Just like a Bug Teachings. Huh. Don't know what I called it. Maybe I called it Teaching something? Teaching Reclamation. Real quick though, I'll touch on this before we close this deck. The cool thing about the red splash, if you go Rug, is not just things like Ancient Grudge. The reason that red is sweet is because Anger the Gods is very good right now, and you also get to play, oh gosh, I had a Chronos, that's spicy. You get to play Expansion Explosion, so this early game you can double cast removal, you can, sometimes you copy your opponent's stuff, win counter wars that way. Also, the explosion late game, it gives you something to do with all the mana that you're generating in the late game, which is awesome. You can just kill them, draw a bunch of cards. Well, deal some damage to them, draw a bunch of cards, and then kill them anyway. But you get to play Elder Deep Fiend. So, pretty sure you didn't have Octopus. I added this later, Dry Bormir. I just didn't change the name. I kind of worked off of what you showed me originally, and I kind of added some of my own spice. But the cool thing about Deep Fiend is Kozilek's Return. Whenever you cast an Eldrazi spell with creature spell with converted mana cost 7 or greater, you may exile Kozilek's Return from your graveyard. If you do, it deals 5 to each creature. We could add another explosion. But so anyway, this synergy is super spicy. You don't necessarily have to main deck the Elder Deep Fiend. I think it's flexible enough that you could main deck it. You could maybe run one of the Kozileks in the main, and then maybe put the other Pulse in the sideboard just so we could pull off the sweeper game one. But with one Teachings, you could pull off that whole combo. Teachings, go grab Return, cast Return, kill a couple of their things. They still have some big things on the board. Okay, Teachings again, go get Fiend, tap down their mana, kill their board. And now we have a 5/6. I think that's really cool. You might lose the Elder Deep Fiend to like a Bolt, obviously, because he's going to take... Or no, it's when you cast. Actually, he doesn't take any of that damage, does he? Because this gets cast before. Wow, that's sweet. And again, I wonder if there's still some sort of... I mean, call me crazy. I wonder if there's still some sort of Elder Deep Fiend Kozilek's Return deck for Modern that just hasn't been fully explored. I've always felt that that's a strong interaction. I know, I have lots of little ideas today. Close. That actually excites me more than anything else. What would that look like? Oh my gosh, you actually built something, Dark. I'm so glad that you're the exception. So now I have to edify you because you did what so few ever do. Ooh, has Trinket Mage? You've already got my heart pumping. Ooh, Canonist. Okay. So Canonist as a tutor target. I'm into that. Okay, 20 lands. So this is just more. You're just more focused on the whir this time. Oh, you got Thopter stored in there too. That's spicy. I like the Relic. Well, I like a lot of these because you have Trinket Mage. So Trinket Mage finding Relic, finding Altar. Main deck Grafdiggers. So no sideboard just yet, but no, I mean this might be a better way. I'm not trying to claim that my build's the correct build at all. Yeah, this is sweet. Well, there you go, Dark Scythe. Thanks for putting this into words for us. Like how you're respecting the colors better than I did. I was just straight up running a playset of Citadel. Just maybe wrong. Well, I guess you wouldn't need as many dark steels because you've got a lot of other artifacts here. Like, if anything, my build was a little bit lower on the artifact count, right? So your artifact count is what, 20? Let's be generous. I mean, not that I want to compare apples to oranges, but real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll count the Trinket Mages as an artifact because it'll go get us an artifact. So 1, 2, 3, 4 because these make clues. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 29. 29 is pretty good. 29 is pretty good. And you're using the Thopter Foundry to sacrifice the Spine because Spine returns itself. I'm with you. So you wouldn't be playing something weird or janky like the Trading Post. For the record, I really like Trading Post, but I'm with you. So that's how you're returning the Spine, is you're sacrificing it to the Foundry. And then I guess Thopter Foundry would be neat with coding. You could turn something into an artifact that isn't, and then you sacrifice it to the sword. I mean to the Thopter Foundry. That's neat. Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know what my artifact count was on the other deck. What did I call it? Saheeli combo? Saheeliator? I like that name because it makes me think of Tesserator. The Saheeliator deck we were just playing earlier. I guess before the addition of these, I won't count these necessarily. We had 4 Renegades, so 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts. So these make a servo. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I guess it just doesn't change the count. It's artifacts on it either way. This is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So they're actually maybe closer than you might think. All right, the problem I have with posts, it always felt like if I had enough time and resources, I had enough to combo kill. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to slap. I like the idea of Spine. I mean, like, maybe instead of post, maybe it should be like a Batterskull or I mean, technically, okay. I would like it to be something that is tutorable with Whir that has synergy for Saheeli and Guardian, like Spine does, right? It's an enter the battlefield trigger, so that's hard to find, right? Worm Coil doesn't cut it. Is there something that's like 8 or less mana that has an enter the battlefield trigger that's an artifact? I mean, there's the one that blows up a bunch of lands. What is that guy named? What is that guy's name? That would actually be kind of sweet. Because a lot of our mana is artifact based. Oh, what is that guy? 8 mana, blows up a bunch of shock lands or basics. What is his name? That would actually be really spicy. Because we could blink him and do it again. Dimir Training Grounds? Sundering Titan? Thank you. Yeah, Sundering Titan could be sweet. So what are we milling? We're using the, we're doing the, okay, Training Grounds plus Scarab God. I'm with you. So it's a lot cheaper. That even in and of itself seems sweet to me. Problem is just getting Scarab God into play. But I'm with you. Marshall just to make tokens. Oh, Calidus. You guys have cool stuff going on in there. You don't need to call it nonsense. I think the strongest of which, without you even realizing it, is easily Packrat. With Training Grounds. There has been another Training Grounds printing, by the way. If you splash green, there's the new guy. 2-drop. There's another Training Grounds that exists now. We were brewing around it in a Bant infinite combo Eldrazi thing. I think we did get a game or two with that deck. It wasn't a perfect concept. But yeah, there is what is it, Biomancer's Familiar or something? What about Meteor Golem? Would Meteor Golem be better for us though than Spine of Ishsa? I feel like they're solving different problems, right? So what's the benefit of Meteor Golem? I get a 3/3. Like I think I'd rather than the body. I'd rather just. Granted, the benefit of Meteor Golem is I could put this in off of Aether Vial. Does that make it technically better for this build than Spine? I don't think so. That's a funny thought, though. Oh, you're just listing the things that meet the criterias. I gotcha. Cataclysmic Gear Hulk. I do like the Gear Hulks. Cataclysmic. Then we blow up all our own artifacts. I'm with you. That was a sweet card, though. I've always thought that that's kind of a cool card. Yeah, you should get some rest, Jade. I need to do the same thing. Let's play Sundering Titan. It wasn't hard for us to get to that much mana. It's something in a pinch I technically could build up to. And oh, it has a watermark on it. Oh, sorry, original art. This thing's sweet, too. The flavor text on this is spicy, though. Truth be told, my team had never hoped to see the day it was deployed. Even if we defeat it, what remains to be saved? But this has flavor text. Whoa, Evan with the host for 43. Are we going to play it? We can. I meant to host you, though, Evan. I didn't realize I was going to go later than you, my friend, because I technically have work in the morning. Yeah, we could. We actually are undefeated with the deck. I mean, I'm not trying to boast that is actually how well we happen to do tonight. The benefit of running less Renegades is I don't have to run as many enablers for Revolt. No, actually I might want to take that idea from you. I think if there's any one element, real quick, I just wanted to thank again Dark Scythe, because I actually think that the Canonist is actually spot on, and maybe even a Trinket Mage, because that keeps our artifact count high, but also gives us, like, the benefit of Canonist is it's main deckable. Like, we're not casting a lot of things in a turn. Canonist being a tutor target is actually pretty spicy. Also, has legs. It's artifact count. It's going to help us cast Whir. I actually really like that idea. Mind if I borrow it? You just got a 5-0? Nice. So this is a wonderful pile of jank. I love it. I like the deck a lot. I just think the Renegade's just not that good, and our mana would get better if we didn't play Renegade, by the way. I understood why I put it in the original build, though, chat. Maybe Titan is in the board, though. It's like, there's plenty of decks in the format that aren't going to care that we blew up some lands. Maybe we won't play it at all. I don't know. The only reason, Evan, that we're looking into like some bigger stuff to get with the Whir is we had a couple of games where we had all the mana in the world, and we weren't able to do anything with it. Like, I'd like to be able to get just one card that impacts the game. Spine, of course, has synergy for Guardian, has synergy for Saheeli already built into it. Sundering technically as well, because you could blink this and then you blow up the rest of their lands. However, this would blow up some of our own mana sources. I mean, it's not going to blow up the artifact part of my mana base, though. But it would blow up the other. Unless we want to change up the mana base a bit. I mean, would we really want to change the mana base a ton just to pull off Sundering Titan, or do we want to be able to play Renegade? That's really the question. I might just be fine with just Spine being just something that we can go get should we have a ton of extra mana on Whir. I mean, there's also Staff of Nin. I was looking at Staff of Nin. I liked Staff of Nin. I don't think it does anything if we were to blink it, though. I get to activate it twice. We get to shoot something else with it, which is not Zero value. That's just probably less impactful than other things I could blink. So yeah, like staff. I like staff if we just want something big and powerful. Or what were some of the other cards we thought about? Staff. We thought about what was it? I actually do really like staff. I mean, I know it's really basic, but like it doesn't need to be anything super special. It just needs to be something that impacts the board in such a way. Like there are a lot of games where if it's not Spine, I probably would want. I'm just trying to think what I would want instead. Like what bullets do we really want to have? I think that's the question. If we were going to play like 1, 2, or 3 bullets, what bullets would they be? Why don't you just play Wormcoil? I know we keep coming back to Wormcoil. And I don't think it's like zero value with Guardian, right? So we did talk about Wormcoil earlier. So Wormcoil engine, what does it do with Saheeli? I mean, like really all that these would do for Wormcoil is it's going to have like pseudo vigilance. That's what they would do for Wormcoil. Right? Yeah, you attack with Wormcoil. Felidar, you blink the Wormcoil. Saheeli, you wouldn't attack with Wormcoil. You'd attack with the copy. The problem is her -2 exiles it at the beginning, which you don't get the value. What about something weird like would target? Isn't there like that really weird golem maker that like doesn't that work with is it only targeted by spells? What precursor golem is it? I'm just trying to think a little bit outside the box here. I think it's only instants and sorceries. I was gonna say if it was also like targets, like that would be bonkers with this. That'd be weird. Like you copy it and copy it and copy it, but now it's instants and sorceries. I don't know. Like Metamorph? I mean, like where what would we want? What's gonna have synergy? Wish we had enough colors to pull off. Like what I'd really want, honestly, is Brea, but she is not. She's not modern legal. That's what I really want to be able to go whir. Right? I don't know how we'd pay for the black consistently. I guess Mox Opal or Aether Vial. If only this were modern legal, right? Is there something that's close to her that's whirrable? Like that's what I really want, chat. Is like some sort of artifact, ideally artifact creature that has some sort of impactful trigger, which I guess technically could be Sundering Titan. Let's do some research. So it's an artifact creature, and it's got to have some sort of like enter. I guess you wouldn't want it to be leaves the battlefield, right? Because I don't think that would work with the Saheeli. Some sort of enter the battlefield trigger. What about Filigree Angel? I know I'm looking for something really specific, guys, that may not exist. Artifact. It's an artifact creature. When it enters the battlefield, it does something. We got a lot of things coming up now. Like, I want it to be a tutor target. I want it to have something to do with... I mean, maybe we just want too much for this card. Freaking Meteor Golem. Oh my goodness. Genesis Chamber was also something I thought about for this deck, by the way. That was something else I thought about for the deck. Just by the by. I cut a Saheeli. That happens. I'll add it back in, don't worry. Sometimes Moto will like remove cards you don't mean to. Man, we could have flying golems, guys. Oh man, we could just like make this golem tribal, right? I'm kidding. Like sometimes I'm joking with you guys. We could also just add back in these guys, the renegades. They were good for the curve of the deck, which is not irrelevant. I just also didn't really like some of what they're doing. I mean, there's schematic. We just don't have sacrifice engines for that. This would play better in your deck, though. Dark Scythe. Server schematic. It's kind of like a Lingering Souls. You get a servo, and then you put it in the graveyard. You get another servo. I mean, the Gear Hulks are interesting. It's of all those cards. I mean, is this guy spicy or something? So it's either a draw 3 or it just kills them. Like, how much damage are we going to deal on average, though? The average CMC in our deck is like 2 to 3 mana. So, Brian Ruther with a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much for that. Brian, I really appreciate the support, my friend. Holy cow. Oh, this says fabricate. Hello. Thank you so much, Brian, for the support. I look forward to... Actually, now you have 2 speed brews that I have to do. Angel of Intervention is kind of sweet. It's not tutorable, though. I wanted it to be an artifact creature, is the problem. But this is sweet. Really appreciate that support, Brian. That does not go unnoticed. Actual combustible Gear Hulk. Oh my goodness. Does it just not exist? It maybe just not. Like, maybe the card that I want for this slot may have just not been printed yet. Isn't there like that 5-drop that goes really wide? There's also that. We could go get a vehicle. No, I would just rather go get Batterskull, probably. There you go. We'll just play Baleful Strix in Modern, right? Where's that guy that like duplicates himself? Not duplicate. What am I thinking of, chat? Do you want to be able to go get a sweeper? It's not a Modern either, to my understanding. Yeah, maybe I'm just hoping for too much from this card, chat. Very possible that I want too much from this one card we're thinking of. Let's return something else. There you go, Battlesphere. I don't. Why didn't we think of Battlesphere sooner? It makes a bunch. So it has synergy with blinking, and it just kills them, and it gives us tons of artifacts for another whir afterwards. I mean, this seems actually maybe where we should be. Frickin' Mere Battlesphere. Maybe. Just give him the beats. Somebody earlier suggested Filigree Angel. That would be a nice boost of life. That would be a ton of life, actually. 4/4 flyer to boot. How much would that to be to whir in? It would be a lot to whir in. It's already 8 mana, so that would be a whir for X's. And again, that's the problem with Sundering Titan. Is like, I think I'm looking for something that's 6 to 7-ish mana or less. Like, I think that's like the biggest problem I already see with like things like Sundering Titan. Or I'll put this in the think pile though. But I mean, this could pull us back from the brink, sure, instantly in a much faster and meaningful way than something like. I mean, I guess technically we didn't go up against Burn when we were testing. We went up against, what did we play against? Living End. We played against a creature combo. It was like some sort of Collected Company potentially. We played against Martyr Proc. Like, we didn't play against Burn. So like, but then again, like, how would this save you against some of those aggressive decks anyway? If it's going to be a whir for X's 8. Mishra's Replicator is on self-cast. Just play Traxos. Play Traxos. That could be sweet. Shroom. Shroom's got black in her mana cost. Not that that's like too big of a deal. She is Modern Legal. There's just a different printing of her. Shroom's cool. I don't know what I'd be returning though. There you go. Pentavis, right? No. There's got to be something, right? I mean, if it's just Wormcoil, it's Wormcoil. I mean, that's fine. Or Duplicate, that's fine. I want there to be a card that does all these things, and maybe it just doesn't exist. You could just go with Batterskull. Batterskull's solid. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist, chat. I mean, because we're playing the Pentads, we can get to very high whir count, which is why I would want to look into something like, not Meteor Golem, but the other, something. I mean, I do like that Battlesphere can kind of kill almost like the next turn. If they have removal, so what? We get to keep the tokens. I think Mere Battlesphere is actually where I want to be. I was looking for something that like made a bunch of tokens. Like I was hoping for some sort of like tutorable. token generator, something that goes wide. I think it is the Battlesphere. I think it's Battlesphere. I don't think there's something else that does all the different things that I want that we could also, in a pinch, vial in. It's tutorable. It has blink synergy. It kills almost, not immediately, but the next turn or maybe turn after that. There you go. We can. This could fulfill a similar weird role where we whir it in and we. It's actually less mana too than Filigree. The awkward thing being the black and the mana cost. But like this would be kind of cool. This is like the Torgar effect. You guys know Torgar well. I'm sure if you watch my show, we could like put this into play and put ourselves back up to 10, or we could target the opponent, put them to 10. But I also don't think that's where we want to be. There you go. Problem is, it says another Scarecrow. If only he said himself. Honestly, Battlesphere is going to be... I hope so. Like, I don't know. Like I just want... It doesn't even need to be a lot of cards. It could just be one card. Like I kind of just wanted one extra card. Like maybe it is overkill to add something cutesy like the Spine of Ishsa. Maybe this is exactly what we just wanted, one big something to be able to tutor with Whir, and we're happy. And we'll keep the deck more or less the way that it was before. I think for now that's what I'm gonna do. And let's put these back into the deck. Oh, we have to add back in that Saheeli. So yeah, maybe we'll just play Battlesphere. Oh, wrong Saheeli. Randomly, I have big Saheeli in my collection. All right. Yeah. So what's we could even just main deck Pia and Kiran Alar. I think this card's really good in our deck. We could just main board one of them. I do believe the card is very good. And then we have like an extra spot for like another Click or Finks or another tutor target. We could main board one of these other Whir targets. I mean, Bridge is pretty... There's quite a bit of... I mean, with... What happened to it? The, what happened to it? The, Aethersworn Canonist. What happened to it? I guess that's the last spot, then. I don't know what happened to it. I guess it got pulled out of the deck when the Saheeli did. So like a Canonist actually could be that last slot. I like that. That gives us... At least they have legs. I know they're you know, like it's technically a hate piece, but at least it has legs. And if we have Canonists, we don't necessarily need the Trinisphere. It kind of saves us a sideboard slot, and then we can add more of the things that we kind of need. I like double Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace has been really good. I might even consider a third. We cut the Angers because we were just too creature-centric ourselves. Are there other bullets, kind of Canonist style, that would be really sweet that you guys can think of? Let's see what we're tutoring into. So we've got Bridge, Orbs. I like Orbs because it both stops not just things that target us, it's also going to stop like Lingering Souls from beating us. Theoretically, Young Pyromancer tokens it invalidates as well, because if a creature would hit you. So basically some of those go wide decks, this would also protect us. Spyglass, Spellskite. So I'd be fine with maybe another 2 to target. What was something... I mean, just because we haven't lost yet doesn't mean there aren't weaknesses in the deck. If you guys see a clear weakness, obviously I want to add another card to the sideboard. What about Platinum Empyrean out of the board? Platinum is spicy. Platinum Empyrean is indeed spicy. It is... I'm trying to think of something like really spicy though. Something that's just... And again, we could just expand upon what we already have, but Empyrean is spicy. I'm thinking something smaller though. I'd like to have like the rest of the tutor targets be like a little bit smaller. Something like 4 or less mana is what I'm thinking of. Bridge, warding, cage, jar, spyglass, spellskite. There's got to be something else I want to be able to tutor for. I mean, I like that we've kind of made up room on the Trinisphere by adding Canonist. Obviously, we'll have to protect the Canonist post board against some combos, but we already have tools to do that. Both spellskite and welding jar could keep the Canonist into play. This really spicy idea. I like this a lot. Something like that's less mana. Anybody think of like a weird? I mean, there's I mean, Tron's a thing. We could just literally play a Damping Sphere. Would give us almost like another Canonist effect, but isn't hit by creature removal. Why don't you just play Vidalcan Shackles? I think I'm just gonna play a Damping Sphere. Call me crazy. I've been feeling that card a little bit more and more lately. I see a lot of Tron on Moto for some reason, and I don't know why I said raisin. One of my buddies used to do that. He would say raisin, and I guess I picked that up from him, and I haven't changed it in my mind yet. Gotta change your mind. So let's add these three cards and call it a deck, and we'll play a little bit more just because we had that very generous host, and you guys have been very patient while we add some of these additional ideas to the deck. So I want to make good on that. Ooh, why am I not remembering? It's weird. But I appreciate those extra ideas, guys. If you haven't signed up for the BrewOff, we are still doing it. We've just changed the rules a little bit because I blundered. I did. I'm human. I make mistakes. Thank you so much for those bits, Brian. I really appreciate that, Brian. Yeah, I made a mistake. Basically, okay, we're logged in. Awesome. I didn't fully understand the email, or I misread it, however you want to interpret that. I misinterpreted the email, and essentially for us what that means is I still want to do the contest. The prize is a little bit different now. I'm still going to give out the codes, so I basically just misinterpreted what the codes were for, more or less. They are for a card order account. That's true. That hasn't changed. It's just it's not a free account like they have for the streamers, the streamer program. It is different than that. It is actually just a beta key into... Not that I'm trying to belittle the prize. Oh yeah, there's also Damping Matrix. That is cool. I don't think we want to run it in this deck, but that is kind of a... Oops. That is kind of an interesting card to think about. And I'm going way later than I imagined to. Typical BrewSpy. We had two very generous hosts, one from David and one from Evan, and now I'm like streaming till like 2 in the morning. But this deck is cool. It's got all the different angles that Saheeli possibly has. We actually had a game earlier where the opponent, he was playing Martyr Proc, and he had Kami in play, the Peace Kami of something. Basically, we couldn't kill him with combat damage, and we had the Saheeli combo, and I'm sitting there tanking on the turn, and everybody in chat's like, BrewSpy, think, you have them dead. And the reason we had them dead is we had Alter and Saheeli and Guardian, and we just milled their deck out, which was sweet. So the deck does have some interesting angles like that. And that probably won't be the last time that comes up. I'm sure will be the ones that are being ensnaring bridged, and we'll have to think of another clever way to kill them. So it's kind of cool that the artifact side of our deck does give us that alternative way to kill the opponent, which I think is not zero value. Looks sweet. Yeah, we've had a lot of success with the deck. It's funny when we just like sometimes stumble onto something that's actually really good. Technically, Whir could be for 3 just as mana ramp. In this deck, it certainly is. Most Whir of Invention decks are set up that way, that you could technically cast it for 0. There's still targets. Main board, the targets for 0 would be Darksteel. They would be Mox Opal. Post board, you're going to be looking at Welding Jar. So we have tutor targets for the Whir of Invention almost every single CMC. The exception being, it looks like 4. We have zeros, ones, twos, some threes, or just a 3. We have a 5. So we do have tutor targets at a lot of different levels, which is good. And this is us respecting combo. I don't think the previous version we had built was really respecting combo in the way that it needed to. But yeah. Now, where are we undefeated, right? Because technically I already have another deck in the league. Otherwise, I would have fired up. Well, how many points have we won? One. Do we have enough to actually put this in? No, we don't. We haven't won our way back into that. Also, we just had a sub earlier. Brian, I want to open a chest for you. This is for Brian. I usually will do that. That's not just something you're going to see on some other shows. What do we open? Surely it's going to be more than play points. Oh, Corsair Crewfix. Not a very good chest at all, but, oh man, mind bend. My mind is so bent right now. The world I've come to realize is a blank canvas on which to paint. Anyway, yeah, Corsair solid. Does Corsair Crewfix have a mustache, by the way? I've always wondered, if you look really closely at the picture. Surely not, because I think that's a woman, right? A woman centaur. I don't know. There's something going on with the face. Maybe it's just the way that the artist painted the shadow. There's nothing wrong with if she does have a mustache, by the way. There's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, so... I mean, I don't have a mustache. Be kind of cool if I had one. All right, so let's put that in the chat. I know. I'm trying to be politically correct. It's not working. I tried. It's not working, chat. I tried. And you can kind of compare where we're at now to where we were earlier today. So yeah. So we've got all the different angles on the combo. We can do it through Conjuring. We can do it through just the normal Saheeli Cat combo. We can do it through just Saheeli and the pieces of artifacts. And we've also, tonight, we demonstrated that the deck has another angle, which is the Rye Guardian Altar, which I guess that also would have worked with Altar Guardian Flame Shadow. Would also work here. And again, before we start adding too much other spice, if we do start to have spots in the deck open up, we probably should just maybe even consider the second Flame Shadow, because it is another way to go off through the combo. For those of you that don't know what I just talked about as far as the different combos, ask. We had quite a few people earlier asking, well, what the heck is this brew you're working on, BrewSpy, and how do all the different ways to assemble the infinite combo really work? That's basically it. We have those three angles. So certainly adding more flame shadows might be a fine idea. I really like the first one. I don't really like the second one. So this hand's a little awkward. If it was a 2-lander, I'd absolutely keep it. We're going to mulligan to a 6. The 6 looks okay. It's an Aether Vial hand. We need to see hopefully second land. So on the top, we'll keep... I mean, as much as I am tempted to keep something like an Inspector, because that's like one step closer to turning on the Opal, that's probably a trap. Because like, what? Artifact. Actually, that would be 3 artifacts. This would be 3 artifacts. Let's top it. The clue. The clue would turn on the Opal. So actually, I am going to top it for that reason. We're going to shock in this Aether Vial. Honestly, I'll put in the Mox Opal. I don't want we have no idea if our opponent's playing black mana. Maybe they have Inquisition or Thoughtseize. So we'll put it into play. You never know. So we'll see if our record continues. We've had a good night. This is going to be Noble Hierarch. This is going to be Utopia Sprawl. Should have known it was Utopia Sprawl when he fetched a basic. I was just trying to guess what it was. It's always fun to kind of try to guess what it is before it happens. So we can end step put that guy into play. We don't actually have another play just yet. I mean, worst case scenario. So we're going to have blue. 1 for whir. We need blue. I'm terrified what our opponent's up to. I'm assuming it's like a mono green ramp. He's got a lot of mana. We're about to get tooth and nailed, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Opponent's got 5 mana to work with. Now again, I could draw a card off of the clue and cut myself off of my own Mox Opal. But if we don't draw another land anyway, that seems so backwards. I think that's wrong. I think why would I crack the clue to try to find a land when the Mox Opal's already turned on? you know. And then we just draw a Pentad Prism like a boss. And we have all the mana that we need. More or less. That easily turns on Whir. We'll just kick it back. What we could do is we could vial in the Splicer and cast Guardian. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unless we want to keep the charge counters for the Whir. I'd rather not use both of the charge counters that are on the Pentad Prism, just because that represents the third blue for the Whir. I'm fine maybe using one, but again, we could just wait a turn and then we could use the vial to pay for the Guardian. This is like Garruk. I'm assuming this is Garruk. Never know how to pronounce his name, by the way. Is it Garruk? Is it Garruk? That's a moss on my land. Alright, well. Maybe we're going to be using this Whir for mana. But like we have an Aether Vial. Like maybe we're not even going to worry about it. I mean, I certainly care if I want to be able to Saheeli. So we could tap the Opal, we could tap the Pentad, put the other Opal into play. I could Whir a land into play. It still doesn't seem better. It still does not seem better. You know what I could do though? Tap this, play Opal. This actually seems like a reasonable play because we have enough artifacts now to keep the Opal turned on. Tap, tap, crack the Clue. Now we're talking. Liquid Metal. Okay, well that's part of the combo. I think end step we're just going to vial in the Splicer. That's the thing about Mox Opal. Even though it's legendary, the card's bonkers. Like, at worst, it's a Lotus Petal. This is a lot of mana. Oh boy. Yeah, Slime going after the Whir. I mean, Slime going after my Aether Vial. So maybe I will have to Whir a... Maybe I will need to Whir in Aether Vial. I know we're just assuming that we're going to see more mana, but like our deck is actually very low on the mana front. Another Whir. So I can Whir for a land in the end step, but then I lose a lot of mana on the Pentad Prism because it is blue. We almost have enough mana to cast the Guardian. See, he's at 19. It doesn't really have good blocks for this Golem, but then do I have good blocks on the swing back? I guess I do. Yeah, I guess that I do. So I could double block the Slime if he does want to do that. I guess then I lose the first strike on the Golem. I mean, I do like that we're still playing Magic. Okay, so he goes for it. Don't have Lightning Bolt opponent. I guess we lose both of these, though. Like, maybe that's where the exchange isn't great. Nah, I don't think we block. I think we'll take it. So do we want to Whir a land? I guess what I could do is I could just Whir Aether Vial. I probably should Whir Aether Vial. Like, if we need to get back up to the amount of mana to... Yeah, I'm being foolish. We should definitely go... Improvise as one. Yeah, we should go get Aether Vial. I think it's foolish to not go get Vial. Like, it's really the only way we're gonna maybe get back into casting things like Guardian. Let's go get a Vial. Opponent try to cut us off resources, but we're gonna rebuild. We're gonna rebuild. We can do it. Oh my god. The third Whir. Okay. Would he quadra block now? Okay. We got good blocks on the comeback here. Again. I just hope he doesn't draw his payoff card, basically. I will absolutely take a Scalding Tarn. We could put the liquid metal coating into play. Gets us closer to whir. Or a bigger whir. I guess we don't need a bigger whir game 1 though, is the thing. Oh no, yeah, we added the yeah, what am I talking about? We'd love a big whir. We added Battle Sphere. Let's see, how many artifacts will it take to get there though? Like we need one more blue source. 1, 2, 3. Okay, if we count the golem itself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Getting the mirror is 10 mana for the whir overall. So it might be difficult. I mean, in a couple turns we're going to make another clue or we're going to make another golem, depending on if we want to get more aggressive or if we want a cantrip. Oh, we found something. Trinisphere, sure. I too am a Trinisphere deck. That is fine. In fact, that's an artifact. Just because I thought it would look cool. Screen. On Moto, like stuff like that looks really cool. Or you think about, like, hold up. So, okay, so we still need another blue source for these, but this game has been pretty sluggish. Again, I hope he doesn't draw his payoff. Please keep drawing Trinispheres. No, it's big, it's scary. Acidic Slime, number 2. Plow Under. That's awful for us. Plow Under is really good. Like, he literally just slowed my roll for 2 turns. I don't have the colors necessary to stop this. I'd love to shuffle and not have to redraw those. Oh boy. So maybe... Well, he's at 6. I mean, maybe I do just make... Like, maybe I do just blink Splicer. You know? Like, maybe I'm supposed to blink Splicer. Kind of sad that I threw the Inspector away. Actually, don't think that was a good play. I don't think that was a good attack. I mean, what about Hellkite Tyrant? How do you mean? Yeah, it wasn't a very good attack on my part. You know, Plow Under is sweet. Like, he's drawing deeper into the deck, and I am not. Yep, there's Garrick. Here's Garrick. Making dudes. I mean, our golems are still really good attackers, though, due to the first strike. So, we always know, always yield, because the Aether Vial is where I want it, more or less. Going face. Oh man, a Saheeli. I mean, well, obviously Saheeli would be nuts here, but I mean because we do have the colors to cast her. But I mean, like oh, this is an interesting choice. He's letting me kill the Acidic Slime if I want to. I'd almost rather just kill the Beast. Is that crazy? I guess if the Slime is gone, I could attack with Guardian. Is the benefit... Well, no, he'd still have better blocks with the Beast. Honestly, I think I'd just rather kill the Beast. Which is probably wrong, because he might have ways to reuse the Slime. But I mean, usually it's Eternal Witness is the way that they reuse things like Slime. So what do we need off the top, chat? That's really the way we should be thinking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Renegade without revolt. Well, we could cause revolt. That's not too difficult. Like if we do some attacks here, we should prompt. If he does the same block, like we'll get revolt for the renegade. And again, I think I'd rather the slime is in play, because if it does go into the graveyard, he can witness it back, and that would be obviously the best thing that he could witness. Alright, so we have revolt. Oops. Yeah, cast. Oh, Trinisphere, obviously. I'm sitting here like, wait, what? Trinisphere! That's spicy, Boss Rush. Probably not. I like the way you're thinking, though. It seems like a fun alternate win condition. No, I know what the deck. I know what the card does. You don't have to explain, my friend. But that is a funny idea. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out tonight. Seriously, thanks for the hosts. Real quick, I'm sure Dave and Evan are asleep by now, but I really appreciate their hosts. So if you're tuning in from Dave, from his side, or Everos's side, really appreciate the support. For those of you that don't know, Evan and myself, we're part of a team, MDH. Also, I might be doing some events with Dave in the future. No worries. I don't like that he's thinking. That's scary. That is scary. At least this guy's a 2/2. Like we could attack with the. Like next turn would be the turn to attack all. What would his blocks be like? He'd obviously block and kill the Splicer. He'd block Slime on Guardian, so he gets Guardian. He gets to keep the Slime, and we only get in for 2 damage. That seems really bad. Like something else has to happen to this board state in our favor for us to attack. Tooth and nail. I don't know. You have all the mana in the world, my opponent. What are you going to do with it? Oh, we're pretty dead, chat. Oh, it's a primal command. I was thinking, I was like, oh man, like, you know, what is he possibly thinking about? If I mean, this is card advantage. I know a lot of you are like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean card advantage for the green deck? No, the mono green deck, the way that it can generate some card, it's technically disadvantage for the opponent. So by putting, you know, lands or permanents on top of my library, I'm going to redraw those. And so I'm not digging into new cards, basically. It's actually really sweet. Witness for command, yada yada. Rinse and repeat. So I shouldn't be able to win from this point at all. Yeah, that's too bad. I still think our mulligan to 6 is correct in the dark. We'll start thinking about how we sideboard. Do I really even have anything for their deck? Negate's good against them. This hits Utopia Sprawl, the Wear Tear. Unfortunately, a lot of my art... I mean, like, the only artifact that's really probably going to come in is Spyglass, because they're going to be running Garrick. They might have other things I can name with this. Spyglass can also stop Arbor Elf. So basically, what we want to do is try to cut them on that. P and Kieran Nala are strong. We're not going to cut any combo pieces, per se. Like, the way that we're going to board, and actually we have a lot of time now to think, because he is taking his moment. Probably cut Battlesphere. We would probably bring in... Let me open another copy so I'm not, like, ruining our list. I just don't see us winning from this point, because they can loop the He should be able to loop. Oh, we broke Moto. That was weird. That was a weird error. No. Yeah, so we know we're redrawing those 2 lands again. So Stampeding Wildebeests. Why are we getting Stampeding Wildebeests? Oh, just to return the witness. So yeah, from this point on, like he's just every turn he's gonna be witnessing and not passing the turn back. It's spicy, I like it. Like I'm not even gonna get 1 turn to draw into new cards because we know the next card we're drawing unless I had a way to. I mean, we came back though. I mean, despite getting mossed and plowed under and slimed, like we came back mana wise and almost had a game. So I certainly think it was a good bout. Like we tried. Gosh, Stampeding Wildebeests, man. But yeah, so opponent has established a loop. This plus this plus this, plus lots of mana. I mean, I think we can certainly beat it post board. Like we kind of slowed down, and we were just. But think about it, our opponent slowed us down, right? Between Plow Under and the Primal Commands, like he really did slow us down. Like we haven't seen new cards, and we're just stuck on a couple of words, and I couldn't cast them. It was bad, chat. It was real bad. Like we know we're just redrawing the Darksteel. All right. I'm curious how much deeper into the deck like the goods are going to be. Alright, so post board, let's do what I was thinking, which was Mom Pop, Thopter Shop, maybe Wear Tear, maybe not. Those are some of the bigger possibilities. Jar possibly is a good option here. Spyglass. That's what we're going to cut. We're going to cut Canonist. Maybe Renegades, maybe not. I mean, this is just filler. Like, I understand why they're in the deck. They're kind of just like filler. I think Battlesphere could go, theoretically. I mean, again, I do like having something big and awesome to get, but now, are we going to beat them on the table, or are we just going to try to beat them through our combo? I think we're just going to try to beat them through our combo, so this would be where I'd start slimming on Splicers. Maybe we'll just run the Battlesphere, just have something big and silly to get. That's just where my mind is. So this would get us, the Saheeli combo should be fine. Saheeli, it's got Vile. It's got a negate so we can interact a little bit this time. I think I would keep this. Obviously, it's an Aether Vial with no creature yet. And the Aether Vial is going to be very top-heavy this game. Like, it's basically just the what? It's just 1s and 4s, right? Because we cut our 2s and 3s. And we talked about that before, that maybe even still we're not creature-centric enough to justify the vials. We've talked about that with the previous build as well. It's not quite creature dense enough to... Oh, well, there you go. That's nice. That's actually a nice time to draw the Inspector. So we can... I'm not going to put in the coding. We can just... We'll sit on the negate. If he does nothing, I'll end step the Inspector into play and probably sacrifice the clue. Nice. Very nice. I'm just sitting here complaining about the Aether Vial not being sweet, but here it is sweet. Oops. On Moto, it's always good measure to make sure you don't have any like mana floating before you take a game action. Just because you can't undo at that point. Okay, so now we have a reason to tick the Vial all the way up. We're okay. I'm fine just sitting on the negate. I see no reason to... He's probably using the Mystic for mana anyway, so we'll just attack. There's no reason to not like counter this Garrick. or not get plowed. Nope. Rather not let him do that. Let's get steam vents this time. Alright, up we go. Oh my goodness. We need one more blue source. I'm really sad that I got planes. That was silly of me. I think we even had one whir at that moment, didn't we, chat? I think I did have a whir. I can use the Felidar to cast the whir. Like I can blink the island. Next turn I can use Guardian in that way. It's a little awkward. I'd rather have used the Guardian on the Thraben Inspector. So I'm sorry. I am kicking myself a little bit that I got the basic planes. I don't even know why I did. Just because my opponent's not hyper aggressive. It's not a big deal if I'd gotten Hollowed Fountain there. That's kind of hurting us now to use the Guardian that way. This is not a May. He must return a creature. That's kind of awkward for the opponent. But I mean, this hand's really awkward for us because I didn't respect my blue sources. I was hoping the deck would be kind. Deck was not kind. How much mana are we looking at for Whir if I did manage to get another blue source? I mean, I have another blue source because I can just pay for, right? So we could go blue, blue, blink this in, blue, X is 1, 2, 3. I technically could go get Ensnaring Bridge if we brought it in. I don't think I did. No, I didn't. I'm fine just keeping our options open. I'm fine just pass the turn back. Like all the plays I just talked about, all of that could occur during my opponent's turn. He's just going to return the Mystic, I guess. It is a 5/4. It is a 5/4. This is kind of cool though, turning like technically a drawback on a card into something beneficial. It's kind of neat. I do like that synergy. Yeah, no blocks. Like honestly, chat, we may just Guardian the, unless I really want to whir. Like what would I even whir? I guess the other piece of the combo, but I don't have Saheeli yet. Ooh, Witness. Did I bring in the Graveyard Hate? I thought I did. No, I didn't. I should have brought in Cage. We know he's got Witness. That's bad. That's really bad for us. Yeah, I can't stop that. Yeah, chat, I should have. Well, actually, it's not that big of a deal because here's what we're going to do. We're going to Vial the Guardian. We're going to blink the Inspector. We'll draw a card. If we find another blue source in the next 2 cards, we'll be able to whir, and then we're not as affected by the Plow Under. Whir for Opal. You're probably right. That's actually probably the best thing to do. I wish I'd thought of what your line was. Oh my god. We deserve that. Oh, hey, we had a good run with this deck. We were undefeated up until this point. Yeah, your line was way, way, way better than mine. Oh, well, now we can just Liquid Metal the Forest and blow it up. Or, well, he'd still have enough mana to... No, he wouldn't, necessarily. You guys would totally Liquid Metal coating this Forest and blow it up, right? That's not Bizarro World thinking? Like, make this an artifact and blow up the Forest? Or am I supposed to hit the Wildebeest? Like, this eventually will beat us. Like, am I worried about the Wildebeests, or am I... I guess we have opportunities to block. Yeah, that was silly of me. I wish I'd gone with your line. Absolutely. It's an artifact. This is not primarily something we plan to do with the coding, by the way. I totally intend for this just to be for paying for Whir of Invention or doing the Saheeli combo. I would never imagine we get to use it this way, but that's sweet. And again, that makes me think we should be running more artifact removal in the sideboard, maybe. But I mean, he can still just cast Witness and get a land that way. We're just hoping to slow him down a little bit while I find. That's fine. I'll take it. Find another land. I mean, he's got trample, so it's like, why would I block anyway? Probably just Witness a land. He might get Sprawl. Even still, he might get Sprawl back instead of a land because it has more synergy in their deck. The Utopia Sprawls do. It's nice that we got to blow up 3 mana sources on his end with that little cutesy play of ours. But yeah, I think if I had really known what I was supposed to do, I think I should have Guardian to blue source and Word for Mox. We've been in a much better spot. Okay, goes for the fetch land. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like I would have gone for. I mean, maybe he just wants to thin. I feel like personally I might have gone for Sprawl. All right. Well, anyway, now we can definitely do it. Now we can definitely whir. Wish I'd brought in Grafdigger's Cage though, chat. I don't know why I didn't do that. I don't know why I didn't do that. Like, why didn't I consider Bridge? Like, we might have needed Bridge. This is a spot where I need Bridge. I know we've got Welding Jar in, so that might be something I whir for. I mean, I don't really want to whir unless it's for our mirror. Let's do some math here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have whir for 9, which would be X is 6. We need one more mana source to go get mirror. I can take it another turn. Bring it. And maybe we found like something that's pretty solid against us. I don't know. Is this really the antithesis of our deck? Mono green ramp combo thing? Because we were undefeated with the deck, but we made some changes and maybe they've not been for the better. I don't think I've ever drawn the playset of Whir though. This is like fascinating. I'm not even mad. But I don't think I'm supposed to whir for. I think spending the two charge counters on the Pentat is probably a poor choice, considering we're only 1 mana away from getting all the mirror all the time. So we're still short, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But next turn we have it if we want to go get it. So we'll do some blocking to not die. What would Cage have done for us? It would have stopped the Eternal Witness. My opponent has used the Eternal Witness many times now because of the stampeding. No, it's a sweet synergy. I mean, their deck is designed to always have creatures in play. Really sucks that I have to block with Guardian. But I need to not die. So we'll go to 1. Turns off my fetches. I guess maybe I'm supposed to block with the Inspector as well, just so my fetches are still operational. Oh, opponent's deck is sweet though. I'm fine if this is the one deck that we end up losing to tonight. Like, we had a really good run. Winning 3 games with a fresh brew. That's pretty sweet. That's actually very good. That's a good track record. To just out of the blue, we slapped this together, made some changes, added some new sideboard. Like, to go from concept to a deck that's actually winning is actually really sweet. And this is cool. I mean, it's got all the different angles that Saheeli has to offer. If you're wondering what mirror I'm talking about Battlesphere. We just added a Battlesphere to the deck. And I think this does have all the different angles. It took us a long time to decide on what this card should be, but I'm happy with it, I think. So I do think that... all right, well, I don't really want to redraw those. So that's unfortunate. Yep. And I know you're like, but BrewSpy, don't you need? Yes, but I also don't think I want 2 turns of drawing Bubkiss. Bubkiss means garbage. So we could go get a Batterskull if it was in our list. It's not. It might be correct for me to get Alter. It might be correct for me to just get Opal. Opal, of course, gives us the hope of maybe getting to Whir mana. Is the benefit of going with... Or like Spyglass is good in this matchup. We'll get an Opal. That's what we thought about getting earlier. I think it could have changed the texture of the game had I saw that line and gone for Opal instead. What do we want this Aether Vials on? Do we want 1/1 and 1/4? It's probably what's more or less correct. Nice. Okay, so Pentad Prism, number 2. 2 different colors. I mean, is that my opponent's plan? He just wants to keep casting the Plow Under? Gosh, I wish I brought in the Grafdigger's Cage. Why didn't I think that? I mean, the Eternal Witness is really important to their deck's late game. Very important. If you can turn off the graveyard, they can't really do it. I count 10 for Whir right now, says Brian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I count 9. How do you count 10? This is a... Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I personally don't see it unless I'm mathing wrong. 1. Oh, okay, Brian, you're fine. I'll probably still Whir. Now, would this be a spot where I go Whir and... No, we don't want to Whir because we don't... Well, I really don't want to redraw the... Well, I guess we're okay redrawing that. Right? It's a Mana Source. It guarantees that I could go get the mirror. Right? Like, I don't really want to redraw the Darksteel, but I kind of have to if I'm going to cast. Just getting another Witness. Okay. I guess we have to be patient and just go get it now. I'm really glad that we... I mean, we're just dead, though. If I wasn't able to go get Bridge here. What am I talking about? I'm sitting here thinking we have another turn to get it into play. That's fine, though. If that's the only match we lose, and it's... I don't even think it was necessarily the deck's fault, because I kind of made some piloting issues. I didn't sideboard properly. Like, we had the ability to get Cage. I thought about Cage, I just didn't board it in. So, anytime you guys see me making a mistake, especially with, you know, something like sideboarding where we kind of have that time together to think about. But, and I'm not going to promise the best Magic from myself at this late hour. Thank you guys for being here, though. This is sweet. So, out of the games we played 4 games total. We won 3 of them. We lost 1 of them. That's not terrible. Is this a prototype? Yes, it is. It is not nearly finished. I like where it's going, though. I think this is sweet. Interesting take on the Saheeli Rye combo. We have a bunch of different ways to assemble the convoluted loops, so to speak. And I'm sure there are other things that we could consider. Like, we're a Blink deck, and yet we didn't consider to run Shard. Like, there are lots of other little things that I think should be in here, not Flowstone. There should be things like, what is it? It's a really good tutor target. Actually, I don't know why we didn't consider it. It's actually going to have better synergy for the deck than like something weird like a Trading Post. Crystal Shard. We should consider running something like this. It's a Whir target. It produces a lot of value in the deck. Obviously, it's a little on the slow side, but our deck has the ability to combo kind of out of nowhere, but it also has the ability to just grind. I think this would give us a lot of tools. There are lots of spots there where this would have been useful, and we didn't quite have enough mana to go get Battlesphere, but this would have given us the ability to. Does Cage stop them from getting it back into the hand? I thought Cage says can't be targeted. Oh, can't cast spells. My bad. No, Cage wouldn't help you, right? No, you're right. Witness does get around it. Right, this is only going to stop something like Snapcaster Mage. You're right. I'm sitting there kicking myself, and we would have needed like actual rest in peace. No, that's fair, Brian. What about a Phyrexian Revoker? I'm playing Sorcerer's Spyglass. Why don't you play Silent Gravestone? I would maybe play a Tormod's Crypt. I mean, again, I think that Rest in Peace is really good right now, but Tormod's Crypt is at least artifact count, and it's tutorable. When Cage doesn't work, this certainly would. Would I cut a Rest in Peace to have that instead? I'm not sure. I do think that Rest in Peace is really good right now. I don't necessarily want to have 0. So maybe that's more correct. But I'm really into the Crystal Shard. I mean, really, Renegade's here just for curve, right? And the fewer Renegades I run, the fewer fetch lands. Crystal Shard. The fewer 2-drops, or sorry, the fewer. I mean, really, the problem with Renegade has always been, in my opinion, the Revolt. Like, since we've been testing the card from the beginning, we just don't always have Revolt in the deck. So where I'm not really that excited about these. They were really just in the deck for curve. I mean, I'd rather have like a 2-drop that has Fabricate. I just don't think that exists. Let me double check on that. I don't think there's a 2-drop creature, because we want something for the Vial to do when it's on 2. I don't think there's a Fabricate on 2 mana. I think there are lots of 3s that Fabricate. I don't think there are. No, there's no Fabricate on 2. This is like kind of like the closest you get to Fabricate, and it's technically Revolt. Why don't you play Jester's Cap? That's spicy. Are you thinking of... So there's 2 Jester's cards. Are you thinking of the 4-drop? Are you thinking of this one? The problem with Cap... it's not just that it's 6 mana to activate. It's library. If the card you're worried about is in their hand, it doesn't work. But... No, this is spicy. I probably won't include it just because of what I just mentioned, but I like the way that you're thinking, Brian. I think you're on the right track. I just don't know if I'm going to put it into this build yet. But yeah, I really need to get to bed, guys. I know I've said that several times now, and we're still here. But I guess I'll cut another Renegade. I don't know. I'm getting further and further away from the card just because it's one of the reasons why my mana base has so very many fetches. I'd really rather not run this much fetchables. I'd rather be running like 1 less Arid Mesa and maybe even 1 less Scalding Tarn. And what would make the mana really happy? I mean, multicolor. I mean, like Glimmer. Like, technically, our deck is a Glimmer Void deck. That would make the mana so much better because we have white, triple blue, double red mana requirements. Like, I'd rather have fewer fetches and run Glimmer Voids, to be perfectly honest with you, chat. Even as many as 2 or 3 Glimmer Voids. So I think, you know, like only 1 or 2 Renegades, we could easily pull it off with like 6 or 7 fetches. So maybe something more like 1, 2, and 4. I think a lot of our mana requirements are, well, technically our color requirements are higher for blue and red just because of P and Kieran and Whir. So, and like Vendilion Click. I guess, I mean, the only white in the deck is the Kitchen Finks, and I'm not even sure, but that should be in the deck. So maybe we're more of a Scalding Tarn deck, actually. Maybe we are more in this way. And then 1 less of that and 2 Arid Mesa. So that would be what? That's still too many fetches. Still too many fetches. Maybe 1 less flooded. I'm just trying to balance them right. It's probably still 1, 3, 3. And then we would add some number of Glimmer Void. I think that's because I don't really want to add a fast land to the deck. I think I think a couple Glimmer Voids would actually be really clutch. I think just 2. I think more than that's probably a little much. Why don't you just play Lone Missionaries? Oh, Lone Missionary instead of Kitchen Finks. I do like Missionary more if we're thinking about these. If we're thinking about the Shard, this is kind of a neat idea. Hadn't thought about that. Is it better? It's certainly better on our colors. It's certainly like. Don't get me wrong. Kitchen Finks is the stronger card in a vacuum, but Missionary would be easier on our colors by a substantial amount. Because like we're gonna be reaching for multiple blue sources because of the whir in our late game. So like Vendilion Click makes sense to me, and P and Kirin Alar just is so powerful, has a lot of synergy in the deck that I think reaching for red to cast these on occasion feels right. It's a lot of the reason why I even have the basic mountain. So maybe Kitchen Finks is just too far of a stretch. Like we're reaching for triple blue, and I only have 1 fountain. Like I guess if I wanted to play Kitchen Finks, I really should have 2 fountains. If anything, I should have double steam vents. If we doubled up on any shockland, it would be steam vents, which is awkward because like so much of like what else is going on in the deck and a lot of our early plays are white, you know. But yeah, I like that idea. I like the idea of Lone Missionary. Maybe even as many as 2. I mean, surely one of these could be main board. I wish, like maybe instead of Tormod's Crypt, we should just be playing a Relic. And maybe we should just can the Rest in Peace and just stick to ones that we can tutor. This might just be a better plan overall. Like Relic is certainly main deckable because it cycles. So it's a fine tutor target. We don't have any graveyard synergy, so it's not going to hurt us at all. And then we get to sideboard something or cut something. I mean, Canonist could certainly be in the sideboard. I liked it as a bullet. Renegade's just too weak. And then, okay, so there's the next question is, if we're just using Vial on 1, 3, and 4, is it good enough? I do like that it speeds up the deck. But I do worry about that. That the Vial is basically just for 3s and 4s and some 1s. But that would like let me add a second Vendilion Click to the sideboard, or I don't know, maybe another whir target. I mean, I don't want to be loaded up with too many targets. I wish we had more creatures that kind of fall into a similar category as the Battlesphere. Again, I still like the idea of the Sundering Titan in theory, but it's probably win more. I mean, even the Battlesphere might be win more, but I've been tired of too many games where we've drawn like a ton of the mana, because a lot of the deck is devoted to mana. You know, if you quantify it, right? If you were to quantify how much we've decided to I almost said donate, but to relegate to mana, it's a lot. It's a lot, actually. It's 32. Now, granted, like we have some engines in here to like recoup some of that value and reuse what we have, but bottom line, you can't refute this particular construction. A lot of the deck is mana, so just have to keep that in mind, that a lot of the deck is devoted to mana, so these are really important. So I think it is good to have a payoff for the whir to go find when we're like, all right, we drew a lot of our mana. We didn't quite draw a lot of the meat in the deck, because technically the meat is slightly less than half of the deck, right, if you think about it. Just card for card. Like, we have slightly more mana than we have meat, but we have speed going for us. So I think it is important for the whir to be able to get one big scary thing. And maybe post-board it should be able to get one other big scary thing. I mean, again, I think that some of these games we've been playing are really slow and grindy post-board, that a Staff of Nin would be perfect. Or even, what's the other card we considered? It was, gosh, now it's like 2 in the morning. Like Staff, or, like, maybe Staff is too slow to consider for a modern main deck, but like these sideboard games have been really slowing down. So, like Staff, or somebody suggested Staff of Domination. If we're making so much mana, like a Staff of Dom could be cool too. I do like how flexible Staff is. I kind of prefer it though in decks that have infinite mana combos. To be perfectly honest with you guys, like I'd rather just have the ping and have the extra draw. This is certainly much easier to whir into, though. Like, when you start looking at things that are 6 or 7 mana, it is difficult to find them. But Staff of Domination doesn't really have much synergy for the Saheeli or the Guardian, right? So maybe we'll try that. Like I have kind of wanted another big silly artifact to go get that's grindy. I think like this, or maybe even the idea chat had earlier for the spine was kind of cool. But again, I don't know if that's really what we want to be doing. I mean, maybe spine would be better than just the random wear tear. This has come up a couple times. It's fine. I mean, maybe that's a waste of a slot. Because that would give us, like, post-board, that would give us all the different options for something big and scary to get with Whir, which would be, and they'd be within, 7 or less as far as, like, casting cost. So if we were like, okay, this opponent, my opponent's deck, they do have problematic permanents that I need to be able to snipe, that would give us that option. Battle Sphere lets us have a win condition through the Whir. If it's just a grind, like Staff would be perfect. So like I could see a scenario where I would want this or this or this. They're different deck matchups, they're different board states for each of those pieces. So it might be correct to spend a couple. That's what you're spending 6, maybe 7 slots of the sideboard to alternate paths to victory, win conditions. It's maybe correct. Too bad Metalwork Colossus, I know, right? Salvage Titan. Greater Gargadon. I think this actually looks pretty healthy. I think the Lone Missionary was a really good call because we are blinking things, and I think stretching our mana into double white, double red, and double triple blue is a lot to ask for. And Lone Missionary gives us something else to violin on too. Even if it's only in the sideboard. I don't think I'd main deck one. I think I'd rather have some of these other bullets. I think the Crystal Shard's going to be sweet. And you can use it against your opponent. Like, let's say they tap out. It would prevent them from wanting to tap out for a Tazagur or a Gurmag Angler. But you'll use it mostly on yourself. So this is kind of a really cool card, actually. I really like this card. It's been a long time since I brewed something with enough blinking to justify it, but and I think that's better. I think that what happened with the 2-drop we were playing, the Revolt guy, was there were games where we weren't getting the Revolt off because we just didn't have. I mean, if we really want a 2-drop, there's Crane, Glint Nest, and I know you're sitting there thinking to yourself, "Well, BrewSpy, come on, man." But no, I mean, Crane, if we have enough artifacts now, Crane is not the worst thing in the world. I think we're still just under where I would want to play something like Crane, and that's, again, why you don't see things like Tezzeret. That's why you don't see things like, we're at 22. So something like Crane would miss not a ton. And again, maybe Crane is better than Inspector. I don't think so. It's a better body. It's got better abilities. I think the problem with Crane is if we're looking at 4 cards and our main board is only 22 artifact, I think it's gonna miss, or it's only gonna have one choice. And the sweet spot for a card like this, certainly we've played this in Legacy, even in our Tezzerator decks. The card is very happy when you get to choose a reasonable, like it's best when it almost never whiffs, right? Misses. And it's best when you have 2 cards to choose from and you choose the better of the 2 in the situation you're in. So I think that if we really wanted another 2-drop, I don't think it's the Revolt guy. I think it would be getting the artifact count a little bit higher slightly, and maybe playing 1 or 2 Cranes would be a possibility. We could test one. I still would rather have Psy in that slot, or I like the Tutorable Canonist. I could be down to test this if we've managed to find something's not working, and or something seems weak. Um, but I kind of like the deck the way it is. But yeah, we can be a little weak to flyers or lingering souls game one. So I mean, running some cranes would maybe fix that problem. Don't forget that Whir is a 3-drop technically, because of just because of the fact that we can get a Citadel or an Opal. If we already have Opal, we could go get Citadel. It ramps us. If we have extra Whirs that we don't mind spending. That's not a typical mode for Whir. Obviously, if I'm having trouble hitting 4th land for some of these other plays, these higher mana plays, I'll do it. But yeah, I think that's a good stopping point, guys. I'll screenshot this. I'm going bad, but I appreciate you coming. Again, sorry about the news, but also excited to extend how long you guys have to turn in decks for the BrewOff. I enjoyed looking at the ones that already turned in. If you already turned in a deck, don't worry about it. I'm not going to tell you which ones I think would have won had we actually had tonight, been the night that we called for, called for who won first through third place. Do you guys have any other thoughts or ideas? I actually think this deck is going in a cool direction. Like I said, I never said it's terribly competitive. I do like that we have all the different angles that Saheeliator offers. Again, I wish that we had a couple more 2-drops. I mean, maybe we cut a Prism. If anything, I really like what Prism is doing for the deck and Opal is doing for the deck. I'm less excited about Vial. I've been progressively less excited about Vial for some time now in the deck. I think that we've really moved away. We had a lot more creatures in the original build. I think moving forward, I would maybe try to see how the deck would function if we ran fewer of them. The problem is we want to keep the artifact count high, which is a reason to not do it. It also lets us kind of, surprise, like Instant Speed Guardian is a lot scarier. Doing that out of nowhere, I think, is a huge advantage to the Aether Vial. And Aether Vial, of course, lets me get away with only running 20-ish lands. Technically, we could run less land. I just noticed, though, that like less than 20, the deck seemed not happy with me. And we should have less mana issues with fewer fetches now that we have just kind of normalized the fetches a little bit, not trying to run too many because we're not trying to pull off the Revolt creature anymore. And that's the other problem with Gluttonous Crane is it's not quite another artifact. It will be a lot of the time, but it's not quite. I mean, if anything, we'd be better off with like Trinket Mage just because that's a guaranteed artifact. It's a guaranteed relic, guaranteed altar, Vial, Opal, Citadel, sideboard cards. So Trinket Mage would probably be better. I mean, again, the only reason you run Crane is it's good for the Aether Vial curve. It flies. It's a better body, technically, than some of the other creatures we could be playing on too. I mean, again, if we figure, we'd have to like break it down. Like, what could I slim on? Don't want to cut here. We like this. I mean, we could cut a Splicer just to have less 3-drops. I don't really want to cut Psi. I kind of want to keep testing Psi. I mean, if we really, really wanted to bring the curve of the deck down dramatically, maybe swapping out some of the Splicers for Cranes would do it. And again, I still feel as though the artifact count being 22, right, is still a little bit low. That's an artifact as well. It's a little bit low for where I'd want to be with Crane, but I kind of want to test that. I'd be interested in testing that maybe, just to see how the deck functions with it, and if it's nice to bring the curve down. Maybe that is fine. Oh, don't get me wrong. I mean, Blade Splicer is the stronger card, and we're going to be heavy on 3s regardless because of Whir. If we're going to count Whir as sometimes, X is 0. Maybe something more like this. I kind of just like to chunk Mox Opal into the lands pile. so you guys can see everything. We'll give Where its own pile, actually. There we go. So we don't know what it's going to be cast at. Like, X is 5, this would be Canonist, Coding. X is 3 is Shard. X is 4 isn't a thing. Then, of course, X is 7. If you guys have any other thoughts for the deck, though, or me, or just questions in general, please ask those questions. Yeah, I think this actually is maybe where we need to be with the deck for next stream. I actually, sometimes it's nice for me to take an idea and we try to take it as far as we can. So I appreciate you guys. I'm going to try to find you another stream. So sit tight while I get these cards. And thank you for coming to the Brew Spy Show. I really appreciate you guys. Wouldn't be able to do what I do without you guys watching the show. We do need to do some more speed brews. But this is just something that I was working on. Sometimes it's fun for me to show you guys something that I'm working on. But that is something new we're doing on the show. I don't know if you guys knew this. We're doing speed brews. So you submit between 1 and 3 build-around cards. For example, if you'd given me Saheeliator, Feldar Guardian, I'd try to do something weird like this maybe. But and those are come included with any of your subs to the channel, is the way that I've set it up. If you want more rules on that, the command is !SpeedBrew. But yeah, don't go away. I want to send you guys to another stream. You know, I know I say this at the end of the night, but I'll say it again. The way I got my start here on Twitch was help from other streamers hosting me. I had some very generous hosts in the beginning. So I definitely, give me a second. I'm usually pretty good at picking out another streamer for you guys to watch. So if you don't mind me choosing for you. We got Arkan playing some Legacy. That is sweet. I see Confidants. I see Petals. That is exciting. Is he playing Storm? Maybe that's what we're going to do. So we could do Arkan. These are streamers recommended for me. Oh, that's useful. I know you guys are the ones that are going to watch it. I could probably just host Arkan. Who else? Mono Red Phoenix seems interesting. Lots of MTGA. Lots of MTGA. By the way, nothing wrong with it. It's just I'm more of a Modern Legacy kind of guy. Somebody's random F&M. Alright, so it's probably between these two. So Arkan looks to be playing Storm. Never mind. He is playing Phoenix. That's freaking awesome. Oh, he's got a camera now, too. Probably going to host Arkan. Let me just check out this. Because you guys are watching me for Modern, so I assume you'd rather see Modern. So let's see what's going on here. I've never hosted Fission before, so I have no idea. Something about credit card information. Poor guy had 1 win and 3 losses. And he's dropping. Alright. Well, I'm going to host Arkan because I like Phoenixes and Legacy. That seems sweet. I'll see you guys, though, on the next BrewSpytheMagicGuy show. Don't go away. I'll be here. Well, obviously, you're going away. I'm sending you to Arkan. But I'll see you guys later this week. We'll sit down and do a little bit more, hopefully some speed brews, because I am a little behind, which is not good. That's happened to us before. We've gotten behind on our queue. But yeah, give Arkan a nice Brew Spy hello from me. And you guys have an excellent night. I'll see you next stream. Brew Spy out.